we'll end up starting to chase ghosts at some point, right? Like
Inevitable.
that's where these go to, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. You don't really
They're
have
showing BuzzFeed and
you don't have that much of a beginning.
right.
But you have a hell of a middle. Like my sex life. hell, ain't much of a beginning. Hell of a middle and anticlimactic end.
right.
Whoops. I like this. What flavor is this? Just a regular black and mild?
I think it's wine. Actually, wine flavor, yeah.
Like I know a lot of people like actually inhale this, or some people like don't. I guess it just depends on what part of the neighborhood you're from. Like white guys, they don't inhale it usually. You know, they're like it's a cigar. You just taste it for the flavor. And then black people, like, to my knowledge, will suck this down into their lungs like it's nothing.
Right, I'm in the middle. You know, like I kind of want the nicotine at this point. Like, I don't know. We had talked about that the last time. It's like that's more of like only for me if I get out of the house or something. Like I might enjoy one of these. Like, you know.
Definitely tastes good. Like I don't mind cigars. You know, like cigarettes, not too fond of anymore. You know, I quit smoking a while ago.
Right.
You know, but cigarettes, they I don't know. There's a huge difference in how you feel after you smoke a cigarette, as opposed to after you smoke like a cigar or something.
Well, yeah, the crazy thing is that, like, some cigars. I don't know about where black and milds fit on this scale, but some cigars will probably have like 10 times the nicotine as one cigarette. Like,
yeah, probably. I honestly do not doubt that. I really don't.
Right. But you know, I started with cigars. Nick Spees got me started.
I could see that. That man
18,
is a big time cigar
yeah,
smoker. Like he doesn't smoke these. He smokes real stogie sized fucking Cubans. I'd like to get him on the show one day.
He's in the clues, you know, like as far as I know.
It's like the sun isn't up. You can come up now. Oh shit!
Well,
I'm just kidding, Nick. You're awesome.
Oh, yeah. I just miss the old days sometimes. You know, like more the getting together, doing things. You know.
Yeah, that doesn't even happen now. Like I feel like the older you get, the less time you have to do anything. Like there's no pause anymore. When we were younger, it was easy. You know, we could stop life, go fuck off for a couple hours, get fucking wasted, go back to world. You know.
I think growing up, when you get, like, you're absolutely correct. Like things change when you get older, but I think when you're a kid, that time doesn't necessarily exist in a certain state. You know, if that makes some sense. Like you don't have the same concepts. You don't have the same like, you know.
I lost all concept of like hourly time.
Well, yeah,
in a sense.
Yeah. Like,
you know, like the seasons were still there. You know,
right.
All I knew it was it's summer.
More, right.
Let's go party. What time is it? 2 a.m? Fuck it, let's go party. You know, like I want to do this now. You know, there was nothing stopping you from going out there and just doing. But now it's like, fuck, I got a job.
Well, yeah.
I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I got kids.
Yeah, responsibilities is hit you in the face. Like even if you, like, hell, I don't have kids myself. You know, we talked about that before.
To your great regret.
Well, you know, a little. I mean, but I think that's everybody. You know, but
adopt a tiger.
Not a bad idea. Let's go all Mike Tyson on him and shit.
I could see you, the next Tiger King, making your own fucking voiceover country music. Is that you got her? Here we go again in my boots and my dog and my trailer. And my wife left me. And now I'm drunk at a bar thinking about the good old times. Pretty sure that's every country song ever.
Well, that's where it goes to, right? Like,
but then I remembered I loved you. I'm a fool. But fuck you.
Absolutely.
Oh man. Yeah, I was I'm over the gas prices though, for real. Like that's another reason why nobody goes out anymore.
Well, to a certain extent,
Like those the gas prices is too much for me because I mean the way I work is I have a compressor, I have a generator, and I have a big ass Penske full size box truck retrofitted to do my job. You know,
Okay.
everything requires gas.
Right.
Period. You know, and
no solar panels on the top of the trailer, huh? Like,
you know that the right. The one my compressor is a gallon. It's a little Honda motor. My generator is a 10-gallon Honda motor, so that's 11 gallons right there, every 3 days.
Ooh, right.
You know, and that's if we work a lot. If we work a lot, that compressor is getting filled up at least once a day. So you talk about filling it up at the beginning of the day and then filling it up halfway when it runs out of gas. You know, so that's give or take 12 gallons of gas every couple of days, give or take. Not to mention the tank in the truck itself, probably fill that up once a week. It's $150 right there.
Oh.
Easy.
Right.
You know, but that's just
Right.
where the pump stops you. You know, you know we fill up at Thornton, so the pump stops you at 150. You know, and
Wow.
even then I'm not at full, and and not to mention I also have a 5-gallon, 3 5-gallon gas containers plus a 1-gallon gas container also filled. So that way we're not constantly going back.
Oh,
But
wow,
in a
right.
sense, it's still spending the same amount of money because, you know,
Yeah,
you're still
right.
fucking using it.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so this whole gas hike thing is killing me.
Oh, I'm
Because
sure.
people, we depend on people driving. We need the ignorance of people to destroy their
right.
rims so
You
I can go
need-
and
you
fix
need
them.
the potholes,
You know,
like.
so and with less people driving, then less people damaging their shit, and the dollar dropping and the cost of everything going up. Nobody's taking their car to service to get a rim fixed. If it's not leaking air,
right,
nobody
you're
cares.
Just driving on it, right?
You know, the economy, like especially in the automotive industry, the economy is really tanking pretty good.
Yeah, I believe that. Right. I mean, that's. I mean, what do you? I mean, say that is, I think that's an aspect that people don't necessarily like. The common person, like someone like me, I have a very fuel efficient car. And
What's it? The Mitsubishi what?
Eclipse Cross.
Oh, an Eclipse. I don't know why I wanted to call it a Galant. I
Mm.
think that's another Mitsubishi.
Yeah, no, it does, yes, but like it has like an eco mode on it, like.
Yeah, so it switches to electric.
No.
Oh no,
it's just, you know what?
It's a good engine.
I guess. Like, you can tell the difference. Like if you turn eco mode off, it has a lot more power.
I bet.
It's a turbocharged Ford, but I think that's what the difference is. I think when you put eco mode on, you're not using that turbocharger. Like
Yeah, that
theory,
makes sense. You're
I
know.
The
basic bottom line, like they shut two
right.
cylinders down.
Some shit, right? Like
I don't know. I'm not a mechanic.
no nothing.
I know nothing.
No, so it's like the major difference. I would say for me, like my day-to-day driving is gonna make a lot of people upset right now. Like I don't put a lot of miles on my car, so you know, for a month before gas prices went up, I might have put like $30 in my car for the entire fucking month. Like,
Well,
you know
I
what
mean,
I'm saying? Like
living by where you work and like
Well,
not
right.
really going out and doing much really does help.
yeah, like when transportation is not a bill, that is what you know what I'm saying. I don't have to oh god, when I get paid I don't have to be like, okay, I gotta put this aside.
I'm the ultimate economist. What are you talking about? I spend $0 on gas.
Right.
Why? Because I walk.
I have two good pairs of shoes. I'm good to go. Like,
Gotta change my tires, go to Walmart, pick up another pair.
right, yeah. I just return them every 90 days.
Suckers!
Right. Sir.
Got 'em.
Right. Oh yeah, but even now, like as long as I don't let it get too empty, like I'm just $40, $50, like at best. But that, like I said, that's like a month for me. Like I can't. It hasn't. I mean, besides other prices and things going up, it hasn't like hit me as hard. You know, like
Yeah. At the very
I won't be taking like a trip to Texas next year or some shit. Like driving. I did that last year. I drove to Texas and back.
Yeah, but last year was still manageable.
All right. Do something like right, like I don't know. Then once you get to those southern states, it's even fucking cheaper. You know, like I don't know.
Yeah. Eventually, I mean, I hope eventually they're gonna realize, hey, let's start drilling again inside this fucking country. Like, let's open up these pipelines. Let's use our own gas, our own natural gases. Like, why not?
Yeah.
You know, like it's in our country. Why can't we? Like, are you serious?
Or I mean, like we've seen other times where they've opened up the natural or the reserves. Like, didn't was it Bush that did it or was it?
I know Biden just did it, but it was for like 3 full days of oil consumption.
Yeah,
like it did nothing. Dent, no nothing. I think it went down a penny.
Thanks, Flick.
Yeah, and then he went on live and like, oh, look at my accomplishments. I shit myself. I'm the only president in history who shit himself in the Vatican.
It's the president doing it all the time.
I pooped myself. You know who Jeff Dunham is?
I do.
The venture.
Yeah.
Doesn't Walter remind you
The
of, like,
president?
it's 100. It's spot the fuck on. Like, there's. I want to know. I would love to ask this guy. Like, was Biden your inspiration? Let's be real.
Well, it definitely mirrors it. I see that, and I mean,
everything about it, just like the dumb look that he has. It's just I love it.
Biden definitely fits like grumpy old man to a T. Like, slightly confused, don't know what's going on. Like,
Hey, get off my grass. Or is it my grass? I don't know. It's my wife's. She's dead now, but she's asleep. What am I doing?
Well, man, I mean, it's like there's an age. I would say there's an age limit for presidency as far as like how young you can be president, which I kind of understand too. But
there should really be an age limit. Like,
yeah.
Like, hey, you got to be 36 to run for president, but you also got to be younger than like maybe.
Well,
I don't
like
know,
your natural
75 or something.
Age, right?
Yeah.
Like you're forcing people out of other jobs at 60-something,
Or at least be able to pass a cognitive test.
Right. you can't draw the face of a clock. Like you can't be the president. Like, I mean.
Mr. Biden, you're gonna have to ask you a few questions before you begin your presidency. What does a circle smell like? Raspberries. It smells like raspberries.
Yeah, I need you to remember these 3 words. Orange, clock, and shoe. Whatever.
An orange raspberry.
Snozberries. Tastes like snozberries.
Right, like see all the Democrats in the office like, he's our guy. Who's after him? Kamala?
Shit.
He's our guy.
Yeah.
Fuck's sake.
Man, like this. Sometimes, man, like like you talk about. Sometimes this country just make it like just the way shit works. Like it's just, oh my god.
You know what it is, and it almost feels like, and I can officially now say this now that I'm cressing 40.
Good way to buy like that. Crescent. Like,
you
make it sound a little gentler.
Hitting that crest, old as dust. But it's like, I completely now understand that the anger everybody gets when everything changes around you. It's like the culture changes so often now since like the 50s. It changes literally. It was like every 10 years it was something new. It's almost like we get so emotionally attached to our own little bubble of music influence and everything.
Yeah.
And then when this new shit comes along, it's like, what is that? Like, and that's how I feel like now, and like I see all these kids and everything, and like I almost hate them. Like, I hate the way they act. I hate the way they
it's a natural. I mean, I think there really is a natural progression to aging.
I guess, man.
But if you look at the different generations, like we'd be considered millennials.
I don't even know how they scale that. I mean, 80. What, like you're what? 86, 87.
I'm 87. Yeah.
So I mean, I'm 84. So
I think we fall into the same.
I think so.
But it's crazy. It's like things go hand in hand. You know, like our generation versus like the generation after us. Like sometimes it's just the structure of shit. Like all those funny stories. Like everyone always says, "Well, my dad, he would always say he walked uphill both ways to school and 3 feet of snow and da 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 da."
With a motor.
Right. He shared shoes with his brother and da 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 da.
Right.
Well, the story, it's not just they're funny stories, it's some of that's true. Like, it's like...
It's like, well, yeah, but, Grandpa, we live in a city now. We're not on the farm.
Well, but I think those struggles is what actually made people who they were.
Yeah.
I think that's something I really was thinking about, is like, I keep seeing this saying over and over and over everywhere. Like, everybody keeps saying what is it? That strong men make good times or good times make like
strong men make good times. Good time makes like weak men, and weak men make bad times.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But I really think that's actually exactly what's fucking happening. Like even on like a smaller scale, it's like generationally that's what's happening.
Well, I completely agree. Like. I honestly, I see it happening the exact same way as the Roman Republic fell.
Well, yeah,
the politicians are out of fucking control.
Right,
they're passing laws that only benefit them. They're passing laws on what they feel is right for them. They don't give a crap about the people.
No, exactly.
You got and that's why it's even though I don't want it to happen. But if the time repeats itself, I can see Donald Trump marching into D.C. on the top of a tank, and then guess who's dictator for life?
Right.
And there's so many people that'll follow him.
But
it would work, and that's
like,
ridiculous.
The problem is we're either extreme one way or the other.
Like, I know. There's no, not anymore. There used to be, but there's no meeting in the middle anymore. Well, it's you either think like me or you're this, and this.
Right. And I think,
why has it got to be like that?
Yes, like that's. The crazy part for me is that there's no answers to anything. Like all the things we could talk about today, all the things we talked about on the last show, there's no actual real answers to like, hey, why do you tax my money 7 different times the same money? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Why is being rich basically putting you above the law? You know what I'm saying? Like, because being honest with you, you're the government wants it that way. Like, capitalism is the giant carrot in front of everybody's nose. Like, I can fuck the lower class, and the richer people, they're still paying for the machine to roll. But the only difference is they can buy a private jet for X millions of dollars. The government's still getting the tax money either fucking way.
Right.
Because this person didn't have to just pay a tax. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, this is corporate America.
Right.
Really, that's what it is. It's corporate America.
But there's like a new thing. Like, actually, like what I really do hate about that is companies nowadays have learned, and this is the way I feel about it. They have learned that you can train the customer better than you can train the employees.
Yeah, why do you think there's no more registers now?
Right.
You got somebody guiding traffic, and that's it.
You go to a restaurant, like just the other day, me and my wife went to Dave & Buster's with her little niece. Her niece's birthday is coming up this week, and there was like one bartender and one manager. Like, we go and it's gonna be a 2.5 hour wait before you get a table. And at first you're like, we'll go somewhere else. And I'm like, it's Dave & Buster's. I'll go throw some skee balls or some shit. Like, I don't care. Call me. But I that's what really made me think about it, because then when you do get the table, you're waiting forever because there's just one person.
Right. There's only one cook.
Right, but that whole system is made to where you can't be angry at this one guy, right? Like, I'm not gonna throw a fit. It's only him. That's what they want you to do. You know what I mean? Like, so he gets overworked and underpaid, You get used to crappier service. The company still makes
it's
or
a down
not more
trickle.
fucking money.
It's
right?
a down trickle,
Like,
and then they do
right.
that for so long it becomes normal.
Yes,
And then once it becomes normal, they hit you with more shit, and then that becomes
right,
normal.
Right, it's a slow training process. Like it's just like
It's all about cost cutting.
yes.
You know, and cost cutting doesn't mean that the company is cutting their cost. No, cost cutting is I'm gonna fire two people from the register. I'm gonna buy the automated kiosk
Yeah.
and put it there. That's gonna do the job of 3-4 people, and then I don't have to pay you $15 an hour. But then I can turn around and tell you, hell, we're starting you at $15 an hour. That one person that's gonna get that $15 an hour, good for you. But think about that. When one person gets that wage that they wanted, there's another 4 people that are not allowed to get that job now because these computer screens have just took their jobs.
Yeah, why pay? Yeah, exactly.
Why pay a staff of 6-7 people to man 6-7 registers when you can have one register and 5-6 kiosks? And then that one person's manning the one register for the handicap, maybe, you know. And then there's another one person who's literally pointing people where to go and how to check out.
That's why.
That's what?
It's a funny concept, but that's why Aldi's works the way it does.
Yeah, bag your own shit.
Bag your own shit. Now they put self checkouts in Aldi's too.
See, I haven't seen them yet.
The one by mine has it, but I don't. But the funny concept is that
you can't rob a self checkout, Clark.
Right. We'll pay.
Give me your money. Please touch screen item 2. Give me your money!
There you go.
Repeat that. Calling police. It'll be like the Fifth Element, you know. I sense aggression. Please put your hands in the circles and wait for the authorities. No fucking machine gun. That'll get everybody to straighten the fuck up real quick.
You know, that's some shit you can look back at this video in 10 years and be like, see, yeah, we were right. Like, that's exactly what fucking happened.
You know, like the movie. Oh God, so scary. The movie Idiocracy.
See, I don't know.
This guy, he's a normal dude, I guess. He gets locked. I don't remember if he accidentally gets locked into a time machine or he gets put into a time machine. I can't remember. But he comes out in the future. Everybody's fucking stupid, like liberal stupid, like. Oh well, we don't give the plants water. We give them Gatorade because of the electrolytes. All the plants on the planet started to die. Like there was a famine because they decided to not give plants water. They wanted to give it electrolytes.
Right.
Fucking Gatorade. You know, the president of the United States was the Hancho Camacho wrestler or whatever, played by the one black guy in White Chicks doing the dancing. Once you go black,
Terry Crews.
Yeah, he played Terry Crews. That's his name. He played the president, and he was like a macho man, fucking Hulk Hogan style fucking president person. He was a professional wrestler, like at the same fucking time. Like, but you know, and then the one guy, he's just like, well, this is like, you guys are dumb. Like he realized like they're just really, really dumb. And what had happened is the dumb people outbred the smart people, so then people just kept getting dumber and dumber and dumber as the years went on. So this one normal ass guy, they thought he was a genius because he was just thinking with simple everyday logic,
right?
You know. So they were like, all right, well, he's gonna save the world. The guy's like, oh, I'm not. You're gonna save the world. You're smart, you know. So he has to figure out how to make the plants grow again and this and that. And he just turned the water on. He turned the water on, and all of a sudden, shit started growing. And they were about to execute him because he wasn't producing, right? They put him through this torture chamber with like monster trucks and all this dumbass shit. Because you know, in politics, everything's got to be a spectacle, like how it is now.
Well, yeah,
like, it was spot on, dude. It was spot on.
You see the similarities in real life.
Oh, it's disgusting how scary that is. You know, and like at the obviously last minute, you know, they got the camera on the flower, like, look, it grew, and then everyone's like, oh, so wait, so plants don't need electrolytes from with Gatorade? We give them water like from the toilet, and then they're like, oh, that's disgusting, like.
Wow. like really, but I mean, like,
what? Oh man, but that movie, like, it opened a lot of, like, if you watch it now, you'd be scared. And the horrible similarities of how stupid people are.
But that again, that's a. I mean, let's be fair. That's a side effect that the government wants. Like, look at whatever government wants right now. It's like you know. I said it last time. It's consume and die. You know.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thought process now, because that's literally.
Well, yeah, you know, they made it convenient for convenience sake.
Yeah.
They made everybody. They made it to the point where you absolutely need the devices and the objects that you have, because it's now a necessity. You are not able to do this, go there, buy this, do that without your device or your specific card with this digital money on it.
Relying on something else.
Oh yeah, and like, it's scary, man. Like, look, like, I mean, I'm not saying that what they're doing, the whole Russia-Ukraine thing is good in any aspect, but it's like, they shut them off. They shut Russia off completely. Like, you know how scary that is? To know that
it's a possibility.
The government has
the
the absolute ability to shut you off no matter what, take everything from you, and do nothing. Like
what would you do?
Canada,
right.
what's his name, Trudeau? What did he do to the truckers? We're gonna seize all your money. We're gonna seize your asset. I don't care if you're doing anything or not, but if you're involved with them, you're getting your stuff taken. You'll face penalties and crimes, and it's like, for what? Driving?
So, but that's the scary reality of the world.
They drove. That's it. Unreal.
That's a scary reality.
And then he goes, "Oh well, we'll fine you if you help them or feed them or give them money."
Oh,
they stole their GoFundMe. Like, they made over, I think it was like 10 million in GoFundMe. They took all of it.
Oh shit!
The Canadian government took all of it, and then other funding websites tried to help them out, and the Canadian government's like, "Nah, we're taking that too." They just completely turned around and went completely tyrannical on their people, like 100%. And then the Ukraine stuff started to happen, and Trudeau's like, "We love freedom and this and that." It's like, you just shat all over your own people.
Yeah.
Like, it was funny. He did a thing at the EU summit or whatever not too long ago, a couple days ago, and normally, when a leader of a country goes up there and makes a speech, there's all these other countries that come to the meeting, the summit, whatever, and they'll sit and listen to you. Nobody fucking showed up for Trudeau. No country showed up.
Oh, wow.
And then there was another guy, I don't remember where he was from or whatever, and he just laid into Trudeau, like just fucking destroyed him, because like, you just shat on your own people. And you're gonna turn around and say, "Oh no, we respect freedom. We like this. What is Russia doing to the people? What's wrong with you?" Like, dude, right? Like, oh, okay.
Here, you know,
so you're gonna give that 10 million back to those people? No, probably not.
Crickets. Right.
As he's on his yacht, what 10 million? What do you mean? What money? I know he's Middle Eastern. What money? What are you doing? He's from Tatooine, the fucking Guadalajara.
You know, here, this is one thought process I've always had, or at least I've thought about a lot more recently. It's an old thing. You're gonna know as soon as I say it. Like, it's that old thing. Or what? Don't ask what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. Mm-hmm. Right. I think the problem
only Democrat I listen to.
But the problem is that idea is now the main. You know what I'm saying? They stuck with that so fucking hard that really at a certain point, when do people start asking the opposite? Like, what else do you want from us? Like, what you know what I mean? What's the benefit?
When they put millions of minority Americans on the welfare system. Once they started implementing the welfare system, like, real heavy in, like, what was it, like the 80s, 90s.
Okay.
They started promoting the whole Planned Parenthood agenda, putting a Planned Parenthood in every fucking neighborhood. They made it more lucrative for a mother to be a single mother. They gave you more. The more kids you have, the more money they would just give you. Like, it's that way right now. You know, it's even worse now. Now they back then it was the food stamps, Now it's the link card. Now they're giving you, oh, COVID. Here's an extra $1,000 in link money. Where's it coming from? We don't know.
Right.
Where's this money coming from? Oh, we don't know.
You don't want to give it back, like.
And
No,
they have put in and this is why I agree with the whole systematic racism thing. I do majorly disagree with the racism and this and that, but I do agree that there is a system that was put in place to keep minorities where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a racist thing; it's a power thing. You know what I mean?
It's a money thing. It's
Because there are
thing,
black people in the government who are doing the exact same thing to their own people.
Well,
So don't tell me that, oh, it's the white man, it's white racist. No, fuck off. There are black people in power, there are black women, there are many people in color that are in power that are doing absolutely nothing to change what the system that they are so hard up against. They're doing nothing to change.
I mean, that does make sense. But at a certain point, it's like the problem with that is the fact that the system is put in place to do certain things. Like, then you get, and I think that's part of it. Part of it is the system is like, hey, people are going to think we're racist and we're only doing this against this person. Well, and that's when it goes back to the word token. You do know what I'm saying here.
Yeah.
If I get a black friend, they can't say I'm racist. If we give this black person a job, and then even if that black person hates the fuck this system, there's nothing that person can do to change it.
Yeah.
Like, you're basically you're just a paper figurehead. You're just a, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and they made show like they write that in the TV shows and shit too. Like all fucking time. It's like,
dance for me, monkey.
well, yeah, or like I don't know if it's a cartoon or something. It is a cartoon. It was F is for family. When the guy because he runs for city council or whatever and he gets it, he wants to change his neighborhood but can't because you'd have to watch the, you know what I'm saying.
Right.
But I think some of that is seriously what it is. Like, I don't mean to like totally disagree with your saying, because I do believe that to a certain extent that's kind of what they want you to see. They want you to be like, see, we let them have stuff too. Like, it's not it's not us. Haha. Like,
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, that does make sense too. And just from where this country came from to now, I could see that. Like, that makes
right.
That
it's
does
more
make
of
sense.
Like,
but
nowadays,
again, there's nothing. See, this is why I think the whole when somebody uses the racist card, I want to just automatically like, no, you're full of shit. You're not.
Well,
It's not because this person is black why he can't get ahead. Because I know a lot of black people who have gotten very successful.
Well, yeah, I mean,
it doesn't matter. There's always going to be somebody there above you to hold you down.
Well, right.
That's no matter. I don't give a fuck what skin color they are. There's
but then
always
if you
that
look
thing.
at it too, like, it's just very coincidental that when black people do become successful, there's more scrutiny for them. Like, if anything, like, you know what I'm saying?
By their own
like,
people.
Okay.
Think about that. When a black person gets successful, right, and then uses whatever platform they have to speak on that success, if it doesn't fall in line in a certain political aspect or a certain political view, you're either the blackface of racism, like that's oh my god, how am I not remembering this guy's name? Larry Elder, black man, tried to run for governor in California, right? Okay. They said that he was the blackface of white supremacy.
Oh, like he was a sellout. Like
he's an Uncle Tom. That's what they called him.
Okay.
You know,
I see what you're saying.
Why? Why? Because he was successful. Dr. Ben Carson didn't have any father in his life, whatever. Grew up in the ghetto with his mom or whatever, and he's got his own horrible stories or whatever. He got out of that, became a fucking doctor, became super successful, wound up working in the government with Trump, whatever office they gave him. I can't remember off the top of my head, but they were. Everybody would back him all the way up until the point where he joined Trump's team. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh no, you're a white supremacist now. huh?
Okay. No,
You know what I mean?
completely
It's like
understand
that's
what
why
you're
I
saying.
think the whole racist thing is bullshit. It's
Well, it's
more
another-
political power grab,
Right, it's
if
more
anything
of
else.
a-
It's all about the control.
Well, I think
You know?
here's where I can agree with you. Here's what I'll say with that. I really do think what you're saying is, I can see it because you're saying it's not that racism doesn't exist. It's not that there's not
Oh, no, it
racist white
exists.
people or whatever.
It absolutely
It's the fact
exists.
that it's being racism itself is being used as a ploy to keep people separated, to keep people in minority groups, to keep
Oh, yeah.
people like.
And then when the
it's-
racism thing doesn't work, you do the class thing.
right.
Oh,
right.
oh, you're still succeeding? Okay, well, you're clearly holding that guy back because he's not as successful as you. What?
I can see the argument.
There's always
Like,
something. There's always a block put in place, whether it be a racial block or your social status or even your family name or even your religious background. You know, like there's always something. There's always something that's going to be like, oh no, we don't like that. We're not going to. We're going to go the other way. Like, but I'm the most qualified person for this job. Yeah, but he's black.
Okay.
Shit.
I see what you're saying. Like, oh,
And me, I'm Hispanic, so I'm on the fence of everything. You know, like I'm not racist at all. I've got white kids. You know, like yeah, and like you can't call me racist. You know, I hate you equally. I mean, I'm Puerto Rican, man. Like we Puerto Ricans, we hate everybody. We hate it. We hate ourselves. Like, you know, it doesn't matter. Like,
I understand exactly what you're saying.
And because of that, that's why it's hard for me to see racism, because it's like, I don't hate you because your skin color. I hate you because you're a fucking idiot.
right.
Like just that guy over
Right.
there, same thing. He's an idiot too. I don't like him.
And that aspect, which what I definitely have to agree to, I believe racism is definitely it's a taught thing.
Oh,
It's a
yeah.
learned thing.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not. It's you know, and they do thousands of fucking things about it. Like
Right.
if you put a black and a white kid and a Mexican kid together, and you know, in a park or something, they don't know the fucking difference.
And
Like,
here's the thing, and this is going all the way down to the most primordial, fucking anything you could think of. Just like you said, you got your white kid, your Spanish kid, your black kid. Without teaching them anything of color or anything, the only fight they're gonna have is who gets to have that ball. The only fight that's gonna happen is the cruelness of humanity in itself.
Okay.
We're a naturally violent species.
Well,
You put the 5 races of Earth in a room together, they're not going to try to kill each other because it's, oh, I'm white, I'm better than. No. They're going to kill you. Be like, no, you have something I want.
right.
See that little
right.
corner of the room you're in? I want that corner of the room. So you're going to get that kid, beat the shit out of that kid for that corner of the room.
I understand. I know. That's a
It's
good
the
way of
most
looking at it.
it's the most
Right. I get
basic instinct of human natures is to be violent and to want. That's why we have evolved the way we have, because
it. Okay.
I like your land. I want to keep it. And then
Okay.
you and your boys go in there and you beat the fuck out of whoever's in that land. You take the land and you sell off the people. It didn't matter what color they are. You just got conquered. You're a slave.
Well, all right. Fair enough. I see what you're saying. Like,
Nobody gave a shit about color until the freedom of it's kind of like a knock of freedom of speech, but I don't mean to, but ever since we had the ability to say whatever the fuck we want, when we want, how we thought, it dumbed down the perspective, the perspection of like all of reality, because people are now thinking about just their own, what benefits just them and only them and their reality. That's it. Like, I want to be a trans. I'm gonna be a woman and swim. And I'm gonna do that.
That's a hot
I'm gonna
topic,
do that,
isn't
but
it?
you can't tell me that I'm not a woman because I feel like I'm a woman. No, I can tell you you're not a woman because you have a dick.
You know,
don't get me wrong. You want to say you're a fucking panda bear? That's fine. Okay, Kung Fu Panda, be your panda bear. Congratulations, more power to you. You're still a dude pretending to be a panda bear.
Well,
you're a dude pretending to be a woman to compete with a bunch of other women that physically can't match up to you.
Right.
Fuck you.
Look,
Fuck you, David. What's his name? Liam? Liam, whatever the hell his name. Like, fuck off, dude.
Here's the thing. That in itself is such a touchy subject. Like,
you know what? If you want to be trans, more power to you. That is your freedom to do so. But do not ask me to pretend with you. Don't get mad that I don't want to pretend with you. I don't pretend. This is reality.
Okay.
I am a man. I have a penis.
Right. No,
that is a woman. She has a vagina.
But see, I think
I'm capable of producing sperm to make a child. She's capable of producing an egg to give birth to a child. Can Leah do that?
Scientifically,
I'm absolutely correct.
No, that's what I'm saying. If you go scientific fact, there's only two. That's it. Male, female. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Now, the thing is, where the argument actually comes in, and I really do think this, like, it's a matter of, like, if you want to go back to, like, Bible shit, it's the whole don't judge people thing. You know what I mean? Like, and I hate it because part of it is I agree with what you're saying. I can't argue it. But it's the fact of, like, live and let die. You know what I mean? Like, if you feel...
That's why I'm a conservative.
Right, but then at the same time, it's like, who's me to tell you that you don't feel a certain way?
Right, exactly. That's why I will always say, if you want me to call you Leah, okay.
Whatever you would do,
all right, Leah.
That's fine.
Cool. I had a friend growing up. His name was Steve. But he always believed he was a woman. Cool. He went by the name Helena. Really cool kid. Really sweet guy. You know, awesome person. Was always fun to be around. But I never seen Steve Leah. I never seen him as a woman. I seen him as a guy cross-dressing as a woman. You know what I mean? Okay. Like, I can't sit here and be like, oh, you are 100% certifiably a woman. You know what I mean?
I understand that.
But if you wanna be trans, you wanna do that, you wanna transit, that's fine. Do it. You're old enough to make that decision. Fine.
Right.
You know. But if you're like 3 years old, going, mommy, I think I'm a girl. First, as a parent, you immediately question, where'd you get that idea? Right. Immediately, no matter what spectrum you are, you're going to ask that question.
You'd be lying.
You know, where'd you get that? You know,
question, but
you know, and a lot of teachers are trying to push this. A lot of like with the like CTR and like people are trying to teach little kids like sex ed how to masturbate, do all this stuff, and like that's why I like DeSantis so much because he just passed that fucking bill where they're like, no, you cannot teach children this.
I agree with
They say the Don't Say Gay bill, which has not one word in it that says Don't Say Gay in the bill. Like, it has nothing to do with Don't Say Gay. So what the fact that everybody's screaming that makes no sense. Like, read the bill, dumbass.
But that goes along with a lot of stuff, like, don't get caught saying Merry Christmas. Like,
yeah,
that's more of you know what I mean? If you listen to what people are saying.
I'm atheist. I don't give a fuck. Merry Christmas. Have fun today.
That's my favorite thing about it. I'm atheist. Oh, I don't believe in that. Like, that's my favorite joke for atheism. Like, it's
I don't believe in atheism.
You're right.
God bless you.
But I mean, the thing is,
have a blessed day.
Right, have the day you deserve. You know what I mean? But
there you go.
Like,
so don't even say have a good day. Have a day you deserve, sir.
Yes.
God, that is such a dick move. I'm gonna do that from now on.
Right.
You know what, sir? Have a day you deserve.
Right.
If you deserve a bad day, have a bad day.
And that's the whole reality. We all want to live our lives the way we want to live our lives. We all want to be happy, right? Like, I sure the fuck want to be happy. I don't want to be miserable.
The main goal, it seems like, I want to be happy, and I want to be left alone.
Yes.
And
but I think that's where the argument comes from
exactly,
that side of
exactly.
it.
I think the whole bottom line is everybody wants to be happy, and everybody wants to be left alone in the sense of, don't make fun of me, don't bother me, don't mess with me, don't pick on me, don't hinder my ability to be happy, not necessarily like physically,
Right.
So you take that and you go along with like the liberal ideology. They want that, and I get it, but a lot of them are using that to say, I want to be able to go into that store, loot everything out of that store, and get out of there. But you owe me that. Leave me alone. Don't call the cops on me. Like, leave. Why are you messing with me? I just want to steal your shit. That mentality came from before all the riots and everything happened, and it was always that mentality, because I remember even when like in my 20s, going into the 30s, it was always that feeling of, man, I should be able to just sell these drugs on the street, and these cops are always fucking with me. Why are they always fucking with us? Well, you're breaking the law. I didn't think about it back then, but I think about it now. Back then it was, why are these cops constantly fucking with me? You look suspicious as shit. It's 97 degrees outside. You're wearing a black hoodie with like sweats on and everything. You look like you're really fucking hot, but you just standing there on a street corner, looking all stupid. If I was a cop, I'd be like, got one. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Of course I would stop and frisk you or ask you what the fuck you're doing. Because guess what? The cops that are in that neighborhood know their neighborhood. They're not just stopping you because they want to fuck with you. No, they're stopping you because they don't know who the fuck you are, and you're acting a little bit more suspicious than what they're used to in their everyday job. Because they're out there every day.
I think to a certain level, I mean, that's the thing. Talking about cops in general is a risky conversation.
Sure,
altogether.
yeah. I mean, I'll say I back the blue. I like 10 years ago, I would have completely 100% said defund the police. Now,
see, the problem is, and look, there's a lot of people that would get mad at me for saying that. I'll just put it. I won't try to describe my exact feeling on it. I'll just explain what I think. Like, when it comes to defunding the police, I absolutely think that's a terrible fucking idea. You shouldn't defund the police, but restructure.
Exactly.
Maybe more funding, more funding for the police, but put in the proper places. Better training for the police. Better, different courses and things for.
Right, you tax us so damn much. Why don't we use some of that tax money to buy them some fucking vests instead of taking it out of their pockets?
More police, better equipment, better training, better. You know what I'm saying? And then that goes for almost every job and every situation. It is maybe if the police weren't overworked and under fucking paid and everything else, maybe they could weed out the bad and do a better job
absolutely.
at policing.
These guys aren't going to be on edge all the damn time.
Well, right.
They're not going to be like, I just worked 14
process.
hours.
Right,
I just want to go home, and you're over here speeding like a dickhead.
Right, but a better screening process, a better, more. The cops should have more time off, more.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? It's a very highly fucking stressful job.
It's not going to stop.
No, nothing.
The single event of
nothing though.
Stop! Put your hand up! Pow pow! Fuck! Or the reverse case, which is really small. Like the numbers that they put out there is ridiculously high and false. But say a white cop happens to shoot a black guy. Statistically, when that happens, 8 times out of 10, the guy's armed.
Well, I mean, here's the thing.
And like the other 1.5%, he's running away from a crime scene. That's all statistical fact, and that's scary.
Well, the way I'll put it is like you're never gonna get rid of all the bad.
No.
What you're saying is like
it's yin and yang. If you have good, you will have bad.
Right. Now the thing is, it's what you want to stop is the extreme part of it. You know what I mean? I think that's
Yeah.
like what you want cops.
What's
We
that
need them, but you want more cops that's the last, like killing somebody or shooting somebody will be the last possible thought process to that person. Like you want people that don't want to use their gun.
Well, think about it. It is the last possible outcome.
Well, and it is, and when that happens,
hands down, because guess
you
what
have
happens?
to- right.
You dead.
Right.
And cop ain't gonna keep going. And then he's
I
really
agree with
fucked.
that.
You know? No, yeah, I get it.
What you have is some of the situations that could have been handled differently.
Oh, of course.
But I think that actually goes
what
back.
the fuck is that guy's name?
I really think that actually goes back to what we were just talking about. I think when it comes to the situations that are happening, and it's just like healthcare, actually. I think I actually said this the last time we were talking with each other. They always talk about the thing that happened. Like when you see in healthcare, there's always these stories on the news where there's a healthcare worker, there's a CNA, there's a nurse that abuses a resident and gets caught on camera or whatever for smacking around a resident and talking shit to him or whatever. Do I condone that? Absolutely not. I've worked in healthcare for fucking since 2000. Since I was 18 fucking years old.
I bet that girl got slapped around for an entire week. I bet you she got motherfucked the entire week.
But
I bet you she got disrespected the entire week.
That is my exact argument. Is they never talk about the burnout and the abuse and the stuff that led up to that happening.
We're only human beings. We all have a breaking point. Yes.
Now, the thing about that, and the thing for me, especially with the healthcare part, is, man, like a lot. There's so many things, the bad things that happen that are just totally fucking preventable. It's preventable.
Absolutely.
Like, and the problem is that every business is looked at as a fucking business, as a moneymaker, as whatever it happens to be.
Absolutely.
The scary part is that healthcare is a corporation. It's a moneymaker.
Oh yeah.
This is some shit that there's gonna be some angry fucking people. If anybody listens to this that work in healthcare, there's gonna be some uppers that would be pissed off to hear me say this.
Fuck them. They're part of the problem.
Nursing homes today are people storage.
Oh yeah, stop pounding on the table. My producer, when he hears the video, when he watches the videos, he's like, he'll text me or like call me and be like, quit pounding on the table every time. I swear to God, he gives me shit every time. I love it. The one video, like the last one we did, he's like, why is the camera always shaking and he keeps hitting the table? And I was like, you gotta understand, he's a big dude. That table ain't nothing but like 15 pounds. I'm like, between me and him sitting on leaning on that damn table, right?
Yeah,
it's like Godzilla and fucking Mothra going at it.
But I mean, like basically, nursing homes today are people storage. Yeah, that's a scary thought process, but
God, that sucks to think about.
It's the same. The nursing home is ran the same as the restaurant we're talking about. It's like systematically, you know, shorter staff and more shorter staff and more shorter staff, and the management. It's absentee landlord. It's, you know, make the customer get used to being treated like shit. That's what they want. Like, you know, you have floors in nursing homes that are designed to hold 8 CNAs. Are now like it's normal to have 6, 5.
It's majority like in the cities and around the cities.
The city ones are worse.
Because when I lived in Garden City, Kansas, this town is fucking away from everything, you know?
Right.
Everybody in this town waved at me when they passed by.
That's different too. Yeah. Smaller towns are like that.
White,
right.
black, Hispanic, didn't matter who the fuck you were. I'm walking down the street.
Yeah.
I was really confused. Like, why is everybody waving at me?
Oh,
is there something on me?
Right.
Literally, I mean, there was no traffic. You know, it's only a town for like a couple hundred people, you know, so...
One stoplight type of town type deal.
Almost. The entire town is probably about the size of Oak Lawn. It's a beautiful town, it's just small, you know? And it's like, I swear to God, nicest town I've ever been in my entire life. Like, people... The community literally helps each other. Literally, like, they go out of their way to help you. When they found out, because we had moved out there from Florida... we were in Gainesville, Florida. We moved to Garden City, Kansas, and we we wound up staying in a room with my fiance at the time's father's friend. You know, we were just staying out there. We had nowhere to go. We're damn near homeless. So we went to church one Sunday. By the next Sunday, we had a house. Just like that. You know what I mean? like everybody pitches in for everybody in those kind of small communities like that. you gotta get comfortable.
Here I is.
You know, and it's like, I love that. That's why I think to myself, it's not really racism. It's the urge to have the power over somebody else.
Okay, let me put it to you this way. Oh, let me throw out a thought here. You know, we're talking about the government. We're talking about how they like keeping people. You're giving individual people more technically. Yeah, okay, you have freedom. It's individually. Like, there's a time in this world that, like, depression and loneliness and all that stuff is at a peak. In my opinion, it's you're taking the sense of family and community and stuff away from people.
Yeah.
Like the power of family, the power of community, the power of structure.
You're giving them nowhere to go to except for those corporate built facilities that are structured for people with mental illnesses or people that are suffering.
Absolutely.
And what are you? You're a case number.
Yeah.
You're not Mr. Guy Ross. No. You're case number 4637.
Absolutely.
And in 4637, not only are you just a bunch of numbers, you're also just a bunch of notes.
You want to, like, we're statistically, this is a funny thought process. You know what community of people that have, like, the lowest suicide rate and, like, almost a non-existent rate for, like, anxieties and stresses and things like that? Any guess? Like, the community that has that.
I don't even know.
Amish people.
Go figure.
They all work together. They live in a tight-knit community. They all, you know, when you help your neighbor build their house. And
Utah
they help you
Utah
build your
and
house.
Oregon is a hell of a state, man. They really.
I mean,
I get it.
Right. You work together for everybody, and then it's a very unique thing too, because they let at a certain age their kids have to go into the real world for X amount of whatever it is.
Right, because they have to go to like the school or whatever.
Well, it's for them. They're homeschooled. Besides that, they go out.
Yeah.
You have to experience the real world and make your own decision whether you want to be part. And they say 80% of people go back to the Amish life. 80%. Only 20% of people stay. You know, in like Western civilization, like per se. So I mean, that says a lot. That, you know,
there was a little Amish community in Garden City. That was the first time I ever in my life met an Amish person. But he was a different kind of Amish. He said that his type, like, he still had the super deep German accent. Like, they still had their native German accents, but they also did the suspenders, the white shirt, you know.
Or
like,
there's like,
they really did sound like this, you know. It really did. It was really nice, very nice to talk to them. And the coolest dude in the world. What I did, I worked at a drilling irrigation called Hinkle Drilling, and he had his own little shop off on the side, in his own lonesome, and he fixed water pumps. He would take them apart, the smaller ones, the sub pumps. You know, take them apart and everything. You know, by hand. You know, and fix things by hand. You know, and that was like our secret mechanic. You know, I thought, you know, like they would take it out and they would go to some factory or whatever and then come back and look all new and shit. Nah, that was that nigga. By hand! You know, but the thing was in his little culture, he was able to have cell phones, and modes of communication, and modes of transportation. Because he didn't own a farm. That's the thing. A lot of them owned their own land and owned like land to farm and everything. This community, they were Amish, but they didn't own like land
Okay,
be
alright.
that kind of Amish. So they all had jobs and everything, but they all did the same thing. They don't have TVs. They don't do anything like that. Like they only have modes of communication and modes of travel because none of them owned horses. They're dirt broke, you know. But this guy, like he was so fucking wise, you know, like
almost like old worldly.
it was amazing. He was so fun to talk to, you know.
Imagine,
Just like, I wish I could just come up with like one single, like it was so long ago. It's hard to think of.
Right.
You know, I remember him as the person, you know, and the character in my head. You know, super Amish dude in the pigeon shed. That's what we called the back in the area because the grate had like thousands of pigeons in it, and we had to clean the grate because it would shit. And it would go from a fence to just this white feathery ilk. But you know, like, and he never talked to nobody. He never associated with anybody on like lunch times and stuff like that. He never did any of that stuff. He would always keep to himself. And then one day I was just like, nah, I'm gonna go talk to him. Fuck it, right?
Right.
You know, like, why not? I'm gonna talk to him and check him out. So I go over there, and you know, I'm sitting with him, hanging out with him. At first, it was, hey, can I borrow this wrench? Hey, I'm doing this. Can I borrow this? You know, and he was always real cool about it. Like, yeah, it's do it, but bring it back. You know, you know. So I guess I was the only one that actually brought his shit back, where he didn't have to go and look for it and then bring it back. So he kind of liked me. You know, we started, you know, hanging out. And instead of me going to lunch, I would go hang out with him and talk to him. And like their way of living is so interesting because they do not need anything that we would perceive as what we need.
Like it's I basically think too, they probably have like a skill or a mindset that we've lost.
Right. There is no restaurants for them.
Attention span.
Their wife is at home turning that fucking butter.
Right.
Even that little community, you know, like yeah, they make money and they do that, but it's all inward. It's never really outward. The only thing that they're gonna purchase is another car or another phone or something.
I think too, what has has a lot to do with like mental illness in our society is the fact that the way it's set up is that men in general, like, you know, it is everybody, but it is men in general too. We've lost our sense of purpose. There's like a disconnect.
With this new age, yes, I feel that absolutely.
You're kind of taking away like society, like what's socially acceptable, what we're doing on like a day to day to survive.
Yeah,
it's kind of stripping like your purpose. You're just the way you feel about stuff, and that's even like when you go to your jobs today. Like the way they keep shit is you don't have that sense of, you know what I mean? Like everybody has it, but you want to feel like you're useful. You want to feel like, you know, like you're accomplishing something or whatever that is, instead of just being a number. Just be, you know, you don't have the same group of employees and shit because there's a high turnover rate.
Everyone wants to be an Achilles. I want to be remembered.
Well, legacy. Yeah,
I would never fight somebody that big. That's why nobody will remember your name. That or, you know, he's a 9-year-old boy. Either way.
Ego and legacy, and everybody's more worried about that shit than, you know. But I think there's something more to be said about when you're talking about the Amish people and that. I think that's really what it is. They
don't have that ego. They have their culture, and that's it.
Right.
They have who they are.
Like it's an I know, but it has to be an Amish thing. I know. I think that's where it came from. But like the idle, you know, an idle mind is the devil's playground type deal. Like I know that's an Amish thing, like where that saying came from. Right. But like, it's kind of realistic. It's kind of like, you know what I'm saying. Like if you,
I wonder what their religion is. Are they Jewish? Or like a form of Jewish?
You know what?
Because they certainly look like.
Well, yeah, but I think it's like.
I'm gonna look that up.
You're gonna have to. Right? Like,
that just like hit me like, hey, I wonder what the
Orthodox Jewish maybe. Like I would.
What religion are the Amish? Watch it be rude. The Amish.
They have their own religion, damn it. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Man, not even close. Close, but no cigar, I suppose. Never mind. They're Christian.
Oh, wow.
Old school Christians.
Old Testament. Like,
Mennonite.
Mennonite.
That's where it, yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that word.
Right,
yeah.
right.
My bad. So that makes sense. That makes that like puts so much more perspective to it. No wonder why they still look like pilgrims. It makes even more sense.
I have a very Jewish type beard or an Amish beard, so like,
Shalom.
Right. Oh man, like
I don't know. The whole like me, I'm a Christian, but like when it comes to like religious, I'm not. I have faith, but I'm not really religious.
well,
you know?
we talked about that too. Is that I think organized religion is a scam.
Yeah, that's right. No, that's us.
You know.
Yeah, now it is.
Well, for sure, but I mean, if you look at it, but even back in the day, that's my actual Like, I will say this. I hate to say this out loud to somebody, especially when they're like, I'm a Christian. Because, like, it's almost like cringe to me because, like, if you follow history, Christians are the biggest, like, you know, what's the word? Hypocrites? Maybe? Like, you murdered a lot of fucking people in the name of, you know what I'm saying? Like,
okay.
It's the biggest.
I'm glad you went there.
But it's the biggest religion to be like, if you
Yes.
don't see things my way, fuck you. Like that's my opinion on it. I don't, you know, I'm not like
necessarily Christianity, more
Okay.
so Catholicism.
Okay.
Okay, so and back then there was the Catholics and the Orthodox.
All right.
And those two were constantly the same damn near religion. They just fought each other on how to do it, and by doing that, they wound up starting wars over that shit, killing people, and like that's when you hear, oh, the Christians did all these unspeakable things. Well, so did the Orthodox people, but then again, at the same time, so did the Muslims.
Well, all right.
So,
like,
what do you think the
Muslim is
caliphate
like an older
was?
religion than most. Like
No, it's the youngest.
Really? See, I didn't know that.
Muhammad was born in like the 1000 something.
Okay.
And the Roman Empire was already the Byzantine Empire, and they were already on the decline. And that's when the Islamic faith of Muhammad took over the Saudi Arabia town by town by town by town. It was a military expansion, you know, and that's how you got to think of it. At first, it was just a military expansion of what they believed in or whatever, you know, and everybody in the Middle East caught on to it, and they're like, yeah, we like that, that's cool. And it became eventually the main religion, but it was also like an army. Like, they also did some pretty fucked up shit. You know, they wound up conquering Jerusalem. They didn't just fall into it. They conquered it from the Byzantines. As in, when they went in there, they slaughtered everyone. So, you know, like, don't tell me that, oh, well, this religion did this and this and that. Like everybody, the most favorite argument to use is, what about the Crusades? And I'm like, oh, I love it. Let's talk about the Crusades. Can we? Please? Cool. So there was only like 2 Crusades that involved the Muslims out of the 4. One of them didn't really even kick off. The first one started because the people in, I think it's Iberia? The Iberian Peninsula? Spain. The people in Spain were... You had your pagans, you had your Christians, or pagans, your Catholics, and then your the whatever Muslim faction you belong to or whatever. And what was going on is the Ottoman Empire was getting more and more and more and more powerful, and just kind of like eating up more and more and more land. And the Christians were just like, yeah, we're done with that. Like, you're prosecuting us now. You're kicking us off of our land.
Actually, that's a side of.
They turned that around. They turned that around. Why do you think it's called the Reconquista?
Okay.
That crusade is called the Reconquista. They took back their land from the invading Africans and Middle Easterns. That was the end result of what the caliphate was. when the Islamic ideology kind of flooded in and took over everything, and then it's like you either paid them a tax or you get the fuck out of this land, even though that's your land. It doesn't matter. We're just Islamic now. And that was literally the same thing with Christians and everything. They did the same thing. They turned around and they took over Spain, and they're like, okay, well, at first it was, sure, you can do what you want here. Then it was, we don't like what you're doing. You're going to have to either convert or leave. So half of them converted, half of them left. And then it got even stricter. And it went, we think you're practicing it still. Oh, well, okay, so then the rest of them left, and because of that, a lot more people got killed, and then they went after Christians.
Okay.
And the same people that kicked out of the Muslims went after the Christians and the Jews and said, we don't like the way you're worshiping this. Get the fuck out or die. And they killed a bunch of Jews and they killed a bunch of Christians. Why? Because, again, what you just said, religion was an institution of power.
Oh, absolutely.
It wasn't God or Jesus Christ telling people, go take their land. No, it was really greedy motherfuckers that were in power that needed to keep that power and expand upon that power because they belonged to an institution they believed to be completely untouchable, because everybody in that day and age was extremely religious. I mean, like, if a branch broke, God's mad. Ah, shit. Where's the Bible? One Hail Mary. Two Hail Marys.
Well, see, I can do that, but I'm actually really glad I even said it, because there's a lot of stuff I don't know in that category.
Right, and it's like the more you learn about it, it's a fucking hole, man. Like
a rabbit hole, yeah.
Right,
yeah,
and like the other Crusades happened in the Byzantines in Constantinople. Those were Christians. The reason why the crusade was called to go there, and a correlation of these European countries went to another European country, is because the people, the Greeks that lived in the Byzantine, actually, I got to go a little bit further back. They let a couple thousand Latin people move into Byzantine or whatever, Constantinople. Yeah, that's what it's called, Constantinople.
I'm like, okay.
It's either Istanbul or Constantinople. Nobody knows but the Turks. But go figure, they're the ones who conquered. So these Latins moved in, and it pissed everybody off so much they just fucking slaughtered them. Like they said, nope, they're the reason for everything. Kill them, fuck them. So then the Latin people, who are also the same religion as these people here, said, hey, why are you killing our pilgrims? What the fuck? Came with 100,000 troops and just fucking burned everything to the ground. And then this is my king, now it's your king, now it's my king, now it's your king. Man, these guys really, really want my money. They're desperate every day, same time. It's crazy. But so the Latin people went to the Pope and was like, "Hey, Mr. Popey, we're good, right?" And he goes, "Yeah, go ahead, do it." So they gathered all the fucking people from Europe, and they fucking went to Byzantine, the Constantinople, and sieged it. There was Christians on Christians.
I mean,
So don't give me that shit that like,
right, no,
but
I'm appreciative.
When
there.
somebody
That's an eye opener.
Right, when somebody says, "Oh well, they killed all these people," no, they were killing themselves. What you talking about? Like
right.
The Templars, those Knights Templars, right?
Okay.
They were medics.
No.
They were literally medics and people put into place along the road where people pilgrimage, so they can be protected from marauders and raiders that came in and robbed them on the way there. That's why the Templars was there. But then they grew big enough to be like a unit in an army. So when the crusade, one of the crusades, when they went to the Middle East and started doing it, the Templars were there. They were because the whole point of them was to protect the pilgrimage. And when the Saladin or whatever his name was came in and just started fucking killing everybody, like, it didn't matter. Oh, you're not me. Good day. Good day. So that's when all that happened with. I want to call him Alec Baldwin, but Baldwin. I think the King Baldwin or whatever. He was like a. See, again, I don't have like notes or whatever I can go off of, but like Jerusalem had kings from Europe because like they conquered it and they had to keep it. So where it's and then that's why that's where all that conflict in the Middle East comes from, because when the Christians came in and conquered that area, the Muslims felt some type of way. They're like, no, that's our land. We killed everybody for it. And the Christians are like, no, but we killed all of you for it, so it's ours now. And then they're like, okay, so then we're just going to kill all of you then. And then they killed them, they killed them, they killed them, they killed them, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
A lot more complicated and a lot more messy than I would say most people know.
Pretty much. Like, there's so much shit.
I got a very whitewashed version of shit.
And that's a lot of people, man. A lot of people. But, studying history really opens your eyes on everything. Even if, you look at it and be like, oh, that's bullshit. Or that sounds like bullshit. But when you have, historical, archaeological facts and evidence, it's like, oh, well damn. They're like, oh, Troy never existed. Yeah, it did. And there's actually 7 different cities of Troy built up on top of another one. That got discovered, and all of a sudden it's like the history changed. It's like, oh, so there was a Troy.
So you be willing to say that history can change based on what we know, or what we can prove to be true.
That's the only way. Otherwise, history is just what that is, his story.
Yeah.
If you can't prove it, it's just a story. That's why a lot of people are getting away with publishing these bullshit history books. I think the one is called 1916 or whatever, and it is just absolute garbage. It's saying that white people came up with their own constitution for themselves and compared to everybody else, and they said that the American Revolution itself wasn't fought pretty much to have America, but it was fought to keep slaves. And I'm like, no.
That's two different, right?
And it's like, okay. And the Civil War was fought over slavery, but it didn't end the slavery. And it's like, lady, where are you getting these facts from? What?
Right.
Okay, our history is pretty well documented. And I'm talking about the people who were God, man, talk about brave motherfuckers, right? The middle of a battlefield. And the line shot! Bullets are flying! I would hate to be that guy from the Daily Gazette. Or that poor bastard painter on the hill as he's getting shelled from everything. I gotta get the shot! Can you stand still for 10 minutes, please? Oh, god damn. But from one point to now, history has been very well documented as you go. You know what I mean?
Well, right. I mean,
if you want to tell me Plato's story about Atlantis is a fairy tale, okay, because we can't fucking prove it.
Right.
Until we find the city of Atlantis in the Sahara Desert in Africa. Until we find this place under the Sahara. Nobody's going to sit here definitively and be like, that is a factual place. That is fact. We can't do that. Nobody believed Troy was fact until they found Troy. Nobody believed.
See, the thing I heard, you see, growing up, the Trojan Wars and then the horse and all that.
You hear about the Odyssey.
Yeah, and then later, being now, all of a sudden you got people saying oh, you guys know that's just a story.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's
and what really sucks is you have people in an academic power saying, "Oh, it's just story," when it's not. You're telling me that the American Revolution was fought for the sole reason to keep slavery. So now, not only are you shifting the blame away from the British, which should have been your main focus on blame, you... Okay. But not only that, is you took away everything the Revolutionary War was actually fought for, and just took a shit on it.
Well, I mean, you're just trying to change history for your own benefit. Like, you're trying to, like, you know, like...
It's like, oh, Christopher Columbus committed genocide. No, he didn't. At what point in time did he commit genocide? When did he go anywhere and mass killed anybody without being asked? Because he did help other indigenous people fight off other indigenous people for the sake of trade and commerce. That he did. But he did not just stroll into wherever and said, mine, pow! I'm a white man, look at me. One, he wasn't white by the definition of white, so I hate when people say Christopher Columbus was a white man. Where the fuck was he from? His name was Cristobal Colombo. Fuck off. You know, like...
Fair enough,
like,
fair enough. I'll get, you know, I mean, you know...
And it's like... And they completely forget. Now, if you were to get the names right and the people right, then I would sit there and be like, yeah, okay, Christopher Columbus came and killed... No. America came in and fucking killed everybody. You know, the guy they named these continents after? I think Americo Vespucci or something like that. I don't know. Some fucking Italian dude.
I was not a great student, so I
did
did not even know
again,
that. Like,
America was named after him. Okay. So the guy who gets the glory is the guy who kills everybody? You know, like, he gets the continents named after him, and then now kids are these motherfucking Columbus because he opened commerce and trade?
Big difference.
Huge difference.
Right.
Now, don't get me wrong. The Spanish came and fucked everybody up because the king was like, that looks like good land to conquer. Again, one man with power
Fair enough.
has to keep his power going somehow.
Right, okay.
All the resources in Europe got taken away. There's too many mega powers in Europe for him to do nothing. He had the British, you had the French, the fucking... well, they pretty much kind of owned half of Italy. But, you know, you had all the major powers, and, you know, so what happened? Oh, let's go that way. Let's go to the new land. And they went to the new land, you know. Everybody know who Cortez was. He went in there and fucking killed everybody. Like, how come nobody talks about Cortez? Like, this man went in there and fucking ruined these guys. Like, it was all along the Peru. Or not Peru. Yeah. Whatever that little... the west coast of South America. Yeah, the Mayans, I think they were. The Mayans. And he just came in and literally was like, we want to talk to you. Let's meet in the square. We'll talk. Let's open up trade. So the king was like, yeah, I like these guys. We're going to go talk to them. Let's all go into this mysteriously super packed area. La-da-dee-dee-da-da-da. They all gathered in the one little town square, and then the fucking guy was, some preacher guy goes, my God states that you guys are inferior to everything because you don't worship my God. Convert or... You know, the king was like, you guys are nice, but fuck you. And then the Spanish opened fire and killed like 4,000 people within a matter of minutes. Ooh. You know what I mean? Again, it's not a religious thing. It's a power thing. It's people in power. They have to keep their power. Period. That's it. It's not skin color. It's not this. It's not that. It's the people in power are stupid desperate to keep the power. That's it. And when we say something about it, when we decide, no, fuck that, we've had enough. What usually in this day and age, what happens? They shut you off. They shun you. They cut you off from social media. They ignore you, so you cannot be heard. They couldn't do that back in the day, because back in the day, there was no internet. When you wanted to be heard, you met up in big groups of people and you shared your ideas with everybody. They went off and shared their ideas with everybody, and all of a sudden you're lopping off the King of France's head.
Yeah, but if that system would work, things would be different. Why?
Oh, it would be. I guarantee you. Like, why do you think the Canadian government freaked out so much? The people revolted against them, in a sense. And they're like, oh, fuck, what do we do? Shut them out. Close them out. Do everything we can. Let's not make this public. Nobody was reporting on the convoy. Nobody.
Right.
Did you hear anything about the convoy that happened in the United States?
No.
It's like a 30, 40 mile long convoy went to D.C.?
Barely.
No, right? No?
Right.
No. What you heard was, oh, the gas prices are so high. Why the fuck are you guys protesting in D.C.? Like, why are you driving these trucks all the way across the country? You're the reason why the economy is bad. And it's like, oh, fuck you.
It's a big finger-pointing game at
Oh,
a certain
yeah.
point. Like, you know, just...
There always has to be the boogeyman.
Yeah.
Always has to be a boogeyman.
It's sadly true. But
Fear is the perfect tool to keep a public, to keep a populace down and controlled. You just got to scare them. Think about it. 10 years ago, what was the bad guy? Osama bin Laden, right?
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
10 years before that, who was the bad guy?
Yeah,
Saddam Hussein, Iraq.
Oh, wow, yeah.
10 years before that, who was the bad guy? Gorbachev, you and the USSR, tear down your wall.
And now
10 years before that, who was the bad guys? The fucking Koreans. 10 years before that, who were the bad guys? The Vietnamese.
Right.
10 years before that, who were the bad guys? The Germans.
What? You know what? That's like it.
There always has to be a bad guy, no matter how you look at it. And then if you look at who finances and who has been financing all of the wars, who are the people? Like, look at the paper trail. There's only like 4 or 5 families in this world that benefit from everything because they have controlling interest in the controlling banks, the Federal Reserves, the places that print the money. They have controlling interests over almost every fucking company in the country, in the world right now. There's only 5 companies.
So, like, basically, the ammunition manufacturing and the
yeah, that's part of the 5
5
companies. There are only 5 companies in this planet that literally own every other company in the planet. 5.
It's crazy.
That's the top 5, and there's nothing above them. It's just the presidents and the owners of each 5 companies, which happens to be George Soros, Jeff Bezos, all your like the Rockefellers, all your bajillionaire motherfuckers. Why do you think they want to shit on Elon Musk so much? Because he ain't one of them.
Wow. See, if you don't think about this kind of stuff, or if you don't know it. Like, honestly, I did.
Right.
I didn't even
You're
thought
just
about that way.
And to everything I'm saying, like, if you want to call me out on it, call me bullshit. Look it up. Like, do some research for yourself. I'm not going to sit here and give you file or like the tag names or whatever. I don't care about all that. This is my own. I'm speaking from what I've taken in. You want to look it up, fact check me, do it. But don't get mad when you realize that everything I'm saying is right. It's frustrating because it's like you have people who blatantly ignore reality. That new justice lady, black lady who's getting appointed to the Supreme Court.
I kind of know what you're talking about, but I got like.
They asked her, "What is a woman?" I don't know. What? Wait, what? What's a woman? I'm not a biologist. I can't answer that. What? Ma'am?
Well, that's part of what we were talking about too. Is people
like,
are scared nowadays.
When does human life begin? I don't know. If anybody's expected to know that it's a woman, first and foremost, my body, my choice. Remember?
Right, but that goes right along what we were saying about you. You're just talking about scare tactics and shit like that. Nowadays, if you say an unpopular opinion,
you're canceled.
Yes.
That's what I was looking for earlier. Like cancel culture shit.
Like, but yeah, like the fact that like, oh, you don't think that a grown man should be able to compete with women in a swimming race. Like
And you're a bigot for thinking that.
Right,
You're sexist for thinking that.
How dare you?
Well,
but
first
that's
of all,
what it's come to that. Like that's
biology. This man
right.
was ranked 400 and something
He
amongst
couldn't-
other men.
That's the thought process. If you can't beat men, well, go be the leader of the women.
You know, and I
guess.
really thought that he was doing that as a joke at
or
first.
like he was trying to make a point.
And that's
like,
what I thought. But then he turned around to be dead ass serious.
Well,
And it's like, okay, so now not only did you prove the point that you probably didn't want to prove, now you're universally hated by every female athlete out there. You can go fuck yourself.
Right. But at the same time, if you want to talk about,
You want a trans league? Make a trans league.
okay, see that's not a bad
You want to be
idea.
a trans man, and
But
you
then
want to
have
compete against women
you
who
have
want to join
compete
that
against
league.
other trans men, exactly.
Right.
Or
If you're
trans women, for that matter of fact. Like I actually agree with that thought.
There is a
process.
category in weight and class in sports
for a
a fucking reason.
Well, right. You know, heavyweight boxer's not gonna.
I was just gonna say, not too
welterweight,
long
you
ago,
know?
there was this chick was an awesome kickboxer. Like she was like champion, badass little bitch. Like fucking just crazy.
Remember
good.
Ronda Rousey era like that.
Yeah,
time
yeah,
frame,
you know,
mean,
like, yeah, she did like she fought and everything. And some scrubby dude that they paid whatever to go fight her. Some nobody. Doesn't train, doesn't fight, nothing. He beat the fuck out of her.
No shit. Like,
why? Because he was heavier than she was?
well, I mean, yeah, that
he
should be held
She
into
was
account.
giving it to him. And he was just like, I'm a man.
Right.
Your punches tickle. I don't care how much weight she lifts. She was only $1.50.
Right.
Like,
Because-
there's a reason there are categories in
absolutely.
sports. Like,
But that's at the same time you won't see. Here's like what we're just talking about right now. You're talking about equal opportunity and talking about how you feel and all this other stuff. You know what you're not gonna see is what you're just saying. There's not gonna be a group of women that are like, oh, I'm a man, that want to compete in like Olympic boxing or because it's common sense shit. But they don't want to. You want to tell me you don't see that the other way though? Where's the double standard in that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, unfortunately, the double standard's another thing that I find fucking hilarious. Like, you know what I mean? You want all the benefits, but you don't want any of the. If that makes sense to you, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's, you know.
There's a meme that's like the 2034 Olympic gold medalist, and like he's on the podium, and then he's like, "Oh, you got a problem with my dick?" or something like that. You know, like it's some goofy shit like that. But that's what it's coming to. It's like
if you put it the other way, it wouldn't work out. Is what I'm saying.
no.
Right, you wouldn't.
You're not gonna get a woman.
But that's what I'm saying. Like so.
As hard as she tries, and okay, let's say you get a woman athlete who manages to make it to the NFL. Okay. Personal opinion: the only way she's making the starting line is if the coach himself is a feminist and has that ideology. If the coach was doing it for the team's sake, she'd never see the field.
Now, would you say that? Would anybody disagree with me if I said that would probably
You're making
be fucking dangerous?
Right?
I'm saying.
I'm sorry,
like,
but if okay, and a woman is by naturally smaller, right? So the only positions you could see a woman really playing is either QB, which I would be impressed to see, not gonna lie, because they don't get hit as much, but they do get hit really hard. Or a kicker, or at best, a third string wide receiver, or maybe a free safety, right? But even then, you're at risk of getting trucked.
I mean,
You go to catch the ball, you're not paying attention to the dude who outweighs you by at least 100 pounds.
Freight train, right?
You're getting eaten alive.
I'm gonna say. I mean, that could go back to the argument that everything's dangerous. You know what I mean? But I do.
But you can't put somebody who's that small in a league full of men that are built to run you the fuck over. And I'm sorry, like,
No,
a woman can do
I
it if she
can't.
wants to do it and take the hits and go toe to toe with those big ass dudes. More power to you. Let's see how long you can go.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm sure there's a select few.
There's a reason why Rudy only
farm-bred
played one
ladies
game.
that could come out here and do it. I'm not saying there isn't. I just, like.
There's a reason why Rudy only played the one game.
Well, I mean, yeah, but that's
Fuck it, put him in.
right.
What else do we got to lose? We're losing anyway. Well, no, they won. They won that game.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just like some things are just common sense. It's some things like you want to. I feel like it's just a race to be. Oh, everything has to be equal. Honestly, I feel like that's such like a backwards ideology to have in general.
Yeah.
Like, what is wrong? At some
pointless.
point,
At this point in time, it's a pointless thing to even be
right?
an
Like
argument.
you can have. It's just like, but at the same time, I feel like you're basically saying like the regular structure of shit is just completely fucking useless. Like, there's no, you know what I mean? Like, you can't have both. You know what I mean? Oh, being a stay-at-home mom is the hardest job in the world, but I also want to. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like I feel like with men and women, that's where the difference lies. Like, we get one category, but you want to do both.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? If that makes sense, I'm not. I probably could. You could say that I was a feminist in some ways, but at the same time, I just like I try to look at stuff as realistically, and I try to think like everybody can't have every fucking thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
And that seems to be the issue because like one side wants to give you everything.
If I was shunned for being a stay-at-home dad, and it's still people still are.
Yeah.
Like people that do it, but it's still not like a socially acceptable thing, or like a richer woman taking care of you is like this. Oh my God, you're not a man because you're not doing this. Then why on the other aspect of it you should be?
Oh, he's a man, all right. He's just really smart.
Right,
if you can work the game, more power to you.
But what I'm saying is, that, like, it's like one of those if the shoe fits fucking things for me. Like, everybody, both sides of it can't have both fucking things. Like, what do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I want to have the same job, the same pay. I mean, if you do the work, you should have the same. I agree with that.
Yeah.
But can't, like,
go do 100% of the fields, not just the certain categories of what you want.
Right.
You don't see women lining up in droves to become construction workers.
Well,
You don't see women lining up in droves to become military. You don't see them lining up to be a bricklayer or like miners or
right.
none of
like,
you don't see that shit. One or two maybe, but you don't see it.
I mean,
But don't get those jobs and then complain.
Overrules shit too, but it's I agree that there should be equal opportunity for a lot of things.
Right, and
but then
your
I
gender
also,
shouldn't stop anybody from hiring you or not.
But I also
But
feel
your
like
experience should.
Yeah, but I feel like there should be, like, like people gonna hate me for saying this, but like when people say pick a lane, like I feel like we have.
Why?
We have like specific things that are like, if you're like, why is that structure such a terrible thing? Why does this country fight against a certain structure of shit so fucking hard?
You got a 5-lane highway, but if you don't drive in this specific lane, you're a piece of shit.
Right. Like, what is wrong with?
No. You can't have this and this. It's got to be just this. It's got to be our way, and that's it. Like, you can't even have an opinion anymore.
No.
Like, come on. Like, we can't just discuss this. We can't have a sit down and discuss things.
So what's wrong with a stay-at-home mom and a father that supports the whole family?
Oh, nothing.
That's okay.
If people,
I mean, if that's your choice,
if you
want
to be, if you start a family and decide within that family that the wife wants she decide I want to work, all right, go ahead, go to work, and the dad they decide as a unit, well, I'll stay home and stay with the kids. If that is the structure they want, more power to you, do it. Because as long as there's a stay-at-home parent, it's good.
No, I mean,
Like,
I
I
think
feel like
kids
there should
need-
be at least one stay-at-home parent.
I think
It doesn't have to be that way. If they
absolutely-
both want to work, that's fine too. You know, to each its own.
that's
But
the-
don't fucking motherfuck me because I feel that if you want two parents to work, you can. But if you want one parent to work, you can. Or if you want the man to work, you can. Or if you want the woman to work, you can. It's like no. You got to only have one way of thinking. Like no, like that doesn't like I'm a single father.
Mm.
I do what I got to do.
Right.
The mother of my kids she's a single mother. She does everything she's got to do.
Well, there's no.
You know
actual
what?
problem in
Why
that,
should I be
but-
shunned if the decision was made to stay at home and be a father?
Mm.
Why should she be shunned for the decision to stay at home and be a mother?
Right, like either way, I do.
There's
right.
got to be some kind of structure. You know,
But then at the same time, that
Like-
kind of it circles back to our economy and our government. That
right?
they
They
don't
want you to think
that.
a certain way. Right.
That too, they
It's
don't
more
want that,
lucrative
right,
for the
right.
government to have you split apart
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
therefore the state can go after the husband or the man for child support.
Right,
Now
right.
you're paying the state, and then the state decides whether or not they want to pay the mom.
It's like a mess.
Right.
Fucking like.
It's more lucrative for somebody to be a single parent, and way more lucrative to be a single mom.
Oh yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
that's true. Right. Like. I don't. Sometimes I just don't like. I feel like everything is uberly more. Just harder than it should be. Just everything. Like anything you can imagine. There's a simpler way, or there's a simpler answer for it. There's just
Oh yeah.
Like,
It's
like-
just things just got a lot harder. That's all. With the way the economy has been, the way the government has been run the last like 20 years, 30 years, it's just everything literally got harder to achieve. Every year, the goal kept getting pushed further back, you know, and it really took a toll on a lot of people. And like, as an adult, I see that now, but as a kid, why can't I have that game? Why can't I do this, or why can't we just go there? You know,
Yeah,
the excuse
yeah.
was not today or not today, but the real excuse, the
Yeah.
real reason was we just don't got the money.
right.
Like we
right.
can't just be doing all
But I
this
think
stuff.
you were talking something about when you talk about money with that aspect, you were talking about like sex education and stuff that with like kids at a
Mhm.
certain age and stuff. I also think there's a difference in generations. I think like when we were kids, just like you said, maybe tomorrow or no, we just not gonna do that. I think kids were more allowed to be kids and not know certain shit. Like I think at a
Oh,
certain
yeah.
point, I think
I
like
agree.
do your kids really need to know your financial situations or
Right.
how you know what I'm saying?
And
Like
they usually hit them with that around puberty. 12,
it's
13, 14
wanna
years old.
start.
You
like
know,
they need to learn stuff. I agree with that, but I think at a certain point, kids nowadays, I think that's why anxiety and stress and mental
yeah.
illness and stuff grows and starts at younger ages.
Right, you
Is
know.
because kids have to deal with stuff they've never had to deal with before.
oh yeah.
Like,
you know, it's like
I didn't
7-year-olds
know-
shouldn't be worrying about how to masturbate or put on a condom.
or,
Like
or
I'm
any
sorry,
of
but
it.
that's
Like,
not
why,
not something a 7-year-old should learn.
or my lights are gonna be on because or dad didn't get a shift at the plant or all that shit is like
Right.
it's so unnecessary for children to be dealing with.
And you know what? And that's why you got to hand it to parents,
Oh, absolutely.
because they, even though you don't want to outright lie to your kids, even though I believe lying to your children is an absolute necessity.
Oh, absolutely. I don't have
You know, but you have to.
Yeah, but
You know,
like,
just make some shit up, man.
on a lot of issues. I think
Because
it's better to do.
eventually they're gonna want to know. They're gonna ask. Eventually, they're gonna ask the right questions,
There you go.
and that's when you explain
There you
to
go.
them the
But I
reality of it.
also think
When they're
children-
smart enough to ask the right
Children
questions.
should have a time where it's okay to be innocent. It's okay not
Yeah,
to know.
yeah. From
it's-
like the day they walk to like 12 years old, like go out, have fun, go break a bone, go play in the
Right.
mud, go eat some
Right,
worms,
right.
go
Like,
go fishing with
and
some
that's what
fucking
I-
string and a hook.
I
you
kind of
know,
feel
like-
like that's where technology kind of fucks people too.
Oh yeah,
Like your
face is just in the
Well,
phone.
yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's like the disconnect from people. It's the social skills. It's Or, I mean, then nowadays with kids not actually going to real school and looking at a computer screen and shit.
Yeah.
Hey, where are they learning their social skills from? Like, we say, my grandmother used to say patience is a virtue, and she said it over and over and all the time. And when I was a little kid, I didn't fucking give a shit. Patience, okay, yeah. But it was something that she beat the fuck into me. Yeah, and guess what? That's why I can go to work and last 8 hours no matter what the fuck they throw at me. You know what I'm saying? Or that's why I can keep a job.
Right.
Like, these are life skills that, like, nowadays, that 2-minute TikTok video is the only attention span you fucking have.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have, no one's telling you no, or making you do, you don't have to sit down and do homework or sit, you know what I mean? It's just making the situation worse,
right.
worse, and worse.
Oh yeah, there was a situation at the gas station down the street a couple years ago, waiting in line with somebody in front of me who was ignorantly impatient, and then the person in front of him was really old, wanted to buy the newspaper, literally was taking one dime out at a time, like shaky hand, everything. Didn't mind. Stood there, waited, I had my coffee in my hand, patient.
Patience.
The guy in front of me, oh, what the fuck? But then, when he realized other people was kind of paying attention to him, he started getting louder, more belligerent. Like, oh man, look, come on, hurry the fuck up, man. Oh, come on, man, you gotta be fucking kidding me, And then when it finally came to his turn, let me see, that ticket,
Right.
Yeah, no, not that one, that one. You're like, oh, so it's okay for you to take up as much time as you want, but you gotta rush everybody else so you can get to that slot to take up all the time you want.
Right.
And then when it came to my time, I just had a coffee. I had 98 cents in my hand. I was ready. Went up, gave it to him, and he goes, "I'm sorry about that." And I go, "By the grace of God, I have patience."
Yes.
And then he looked at me and he goes, he just nodded.
Right.
Put the change in the drawer, and I go.
Yeah.
I walked out of the Thornton's. Walked into my work truck, got in, and went off to work.
Well, but yeah.
You gotta have patience.
I think there's a lot of what people don't consider nowadays as a basic life skill. Like, people want to say, well, like cooking and balancing your checkbook and stuff. Yeah, those are important. But when it comes to patience, when it comes to manners, when it comes to respect, when it comes to like certain shit like that,
Mm-hmm.
your actual attention span to finish a project, shit like that. These are so fucking important, and I feel like they go to the wayside. It's just not. It's not important. Like,
there's too much convenience nowadays. Everything is just placed into your hands immediately. Like,
for sure. Like, that's.
Who was the guy who did this, and that? I don't know. Hey, Google.
Right. Like, and
oh man, how do I figure out how to put the leg of this table back on the table, instead of actually putting your own mind and effort to figuring out the problem?
Right.
Hey, Google.
I mean, see,
you want to fucking get that quick fix.
Yes, I will say with anything that technology can be a blessing. Also.
Oh, of course.
Like, they're like you were just saying earlier about YouTube. Like, everything's on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a good instructional video or something like that to get you started on a project, or to show you some things you don't need. That's an invaluable tool. You couldn't put a price on that tool.
Yeah.
But if it was used for that reason. Exactly. I think a lot of technology is more used for impractical purposes than what it would actually be fucking good for. Like,
I mean, one of the greatest songs ever written in our history of humankind, is the internet is for porn. The internet is for porn. For porn. The internet is for porn.
I'm not even mad about that. Like, I know what I'm saying, but
it's like it's
like realistically,
all of man's achievements. 150 porn sites.
but yeah, like, I feel like we as people, we underutilize the tools that we have because of technology, and I feel like like the shop classes and the home ec and the stuff like that is such an like it's invaluable. Like it's not because are you gonna build a table? Are you gonna be a carpenter? You grow up? No, but like I don't explain this. When I was younger, when I say my grandmother beat patience into me, I I was put to work as a child at my grandmother's house, and I didn't know that's what I was doing. But like
Right.
it would be like she'd find an old dresser and be like, okay, we're gonna make this dresser, and you can have this dresser when it's done,
Right.
but you have to sand down these pieces and shit. And
Right.
it
And then
wouldn't let
paint
you
it.
just like, okay, it's done. No, no. You actually have to sit there with the sandpaper, and you
Make
have
sure
to get it
it's
smooth, and
make sure it's,
you have to do each
yeah.
step, and tiling the bathroom, and remodeling her bathrooms and shit like that,
Right.
like putting in each piece of tile and setting it and then doing, like I said, as a kid, didn't realize it. I just thought I was being worked to death. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? But it's like you think about
Yeah,
it.
but then
like,
when you have your own home and you accidentally break a tile, you know exactly how to take that tile,
Right,
fix
that's
that
a
tile.
skill.
You don't have to call somebody for convenience.
Right,
You can do it yourself.
that's a wonderful thing. But then too, taking the time to do something, even if you don't understand it, even if it frustrates you, being able to keep a cool head
Mm-hmm.
and just getting the thing done is invaluable. Like there's no like you can't honestly, like it is a teachable skill, but
Right.
not nowadays.
Yeah.
Like that, it's
Yeah.
wayside. Like it's just like
Well, because here's the thing: it's a teachable skill, but it has become a teachable skill not able to be taught in schools.
that yes, they took that away. But then the thing is, at the same time, the school system is just a it's just a tunneling system for whatever it is, that it's absolute, almost obsolete of how they do things. Okay, that can be true, but by losing all that stuff I just talked about,
Mm-hmm.
you and me are both gonna know this. The whole new generation of people that come to apply for jobs, they're complete shit.
Yeah.
Complete fucking utter shit.
Useless.
They have no worth ethic. They have no, and I understand companies suck. They're beating, they're killing us too, but at the same time, these people can't make it through an 8-hour day without
No.
coming up with an excuse to go home because they don't want to be there.
Absolutely.
Oh, I
see
can't
it
do this
literally.
task because of this.
You know how hard it is to hire somebody for a job like mine? Like you can go online, hire, you can get applications, whatever. They'll work and then be like, "Oh man, we got to work outside." Yeah, it's an outside job. Oh, we got to work in the rain. Yeah, it's an outside job.
Right.
Oh
Right.
well, I'm not. Or you're doing all the work and I'm just standing around. Yeah, sometimes that happens. Or like our main issue is that people like to just take off whenever they feel like it, come in whenever they feel like it,
Absolutely.
leave whenever they want, and then
Yeah.
they complain and
Yes.
so like recently I had a guy working with me complained a lot about his hourly. Okay, well the only way to do it is if you learn everything and you are capable of running the route by yourself. Then you will get put on your raise, your commission. Alright. The man worked his ass off hourly because he wanted those hours. The second he got put on commission, he showed up an hour late, 2 hours late. Even though our job is 9 to 5, he wanted to show up at 10 or be like, "Oh, well, where are we going today?" "Oh, well, it's Monday, we're going to this dealership." "All right, I'll meet you there." Like, no, you have to come to the storage to get in the truck and then we go to the location. Like, why are you making the person you're working with have to do all the setup, all the work, walk the lots, talk to the people, and then you just show up and do work and leave? Like, no, fuck you. You're not doing anything to earn that money. So why are you going to just come in and take? "Oh, I'm going to complain. This job isn't what I thought it was." Or, "Is this too much for how much I'm getting paid?" Or, my favorite fucking line, "That ain't my job."
Oh. Oh,
When
God.
you tell me that, hey, that ain't my job, I'm like, oh man, it really isn't. Go home.
Right.
Wait, what? Oh no, you're fired. This ain't your job. No, I just didn't want to clean out the trailer. Right.
Yeah. I completely.
At what point did that not be? Is that not your job?
Right. You're saying
Cleanliness, maintenance, like everything that has to do with that job is your job.
Yes. Like, it's beautiful.
If you, unless you have a job where you are the machine operator of machine 443, then that is your sole responsibility is to work machine 443, unless told, hey, can you cover 442? I don't know that machine. That's not really my job. That is the only time that line is fucking acceptable. But if you don't want to pick up a broom, bro, fuck you. Go home.
Exactly.
You don't want to do the little shit. Who's gonna do it?
Exactly.
The people in charge are gonna wind up doing it. And then what happens is they're gonna make everything miserable for everybody underneath them after that.
God, yes.
Because it's like, dude, why the fuck am I doing this grunt work when I did it for 10 years?
Exactly.
I earned my spot where I'm at, my position. You want to come in within 2-3 months and try to tell me what you're going to do?
But that's what I'm saying. That's the curse of this new generation.
Yeah, they want to come into the work and tell you what the job is going to do.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That's why I hate when like, as a manager, you have to specifically ask certain questions. Like, what are your times and what are your availabilities? That question is a trap. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's a fucking trap. Because if you don't answer the way I want you to answer, you ain't getting the job.
Right.
Oh, I'm available Tuesdays from this time to this time. We'll call you.
Right, but I mean...
If you don't tell me you have 100% availability in whenever I need you, you're not getting the job. If you tell me, oh, I'm not available at 9, but I can come in at 10 or 11, you're not getting the job. I don't care if you come in and there is no work until 10 or 11. You're still coming in at 9 o'clock, and I don't give a fuck if you have to sit there. You sit there until you're told what to do.
Dude, yeah, exactly.
Like, people, like, they don't... The hierarchy structure, like, nobody wants to be told what to do, period.
No, right.
And it's like, well, I wouldn't be in the position that I'm in if I wasn't told what to do.
Exactly. There's no...
I'd be a stupid-ass novice complaining about my job like you are. You know,
you
like...
You don't want to even take the time to learn the shit
I would do nothing but entry-level work my entire life. Because you have the mentality of, oh, I got this job. This is my job now. Man, why can't I be a manager? How come I ain't making as much as that motherfucker? Guy's like 70 years old, been working in the company for 40 years. Barely making what he's making then.
Right.
The new guy's bitching because he don't make as much as him. Excuse me?
Here's the thing a lot of the younger generation that come into these jobs don't understand, too. Like, honestly, this is not... I wouldn't actually say this to somebody, like, but it's like... But this is the way I feel sometimes. Especially what I do. I started in this motherfucker when they were paying people like $7 an hour to do the job I'm doing right now.
$6.25.
But you know what I'm... Yes. Yeah.
I started working, it was $5.50 an hour.
You know, when I first started being a CNA, what I had to do to make $1,000 in 2 weeks?
A lot.
I had to live in that motherfucker. I was doing 16 hours every fucking day of the week.
Oh, yeah.
I'm picking up bonuses and overtime, and I'm grinding my fucking ass off to get the money that you're coming in the door and making. And for me, I'm not even mad at you. I want the job to keep progressing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
At least,
if this is what I'm doing, then, you know...
make it equal for you.
Right.
If this guy's coming in at what I'm making now, can you bump my pay to where I deserve to be?
I make more than the...
Because if that's entry level, and you've been here for 10 years, and now you're just making entry level because everything changed, you need to be compensated.
I feel like the new people coming into the career field that I'm in don't have any respect for that.
I can
Like,
see that.
if
They're just
I
there for
was-
the paycheck.
Well, a lot of people, most jobs are just there for
Yeah.
the paycheck, and depending on your field, it's not necessarily a terrible attitude to have. It's a natural attitude to have. You know what I mean? We don't do anything just because. You know.
Yeah.
You
true.
know, some jobs you need to have some give a fuck. You'd hope. You
would
want somebody to have.
After a while, you would think that you would eventually give a fuck about what you're doing.
Well, right, or you go into it for the reason that you care about that thing or whatever it is. But the simple fact of that is these people come in and just have, and that's the one thing that it hurts me a little bit, because it's like, if I went back to the age you are now, like when I started in this fucking field, and made the money I was making now, I'd you know what the fuck, shit. Like, I'd be the happiest fucker you ever fucking
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, you're 20-something-year-old kid walking into a job where you're making what, you know, even if you're in the ballpark with me, like, how are you mad about this? Like, you know what I mean? Oh, I don't get enough money. None of us do. But
Right.
we've come a long fucking way. Like, you know, like, there's no respect for that. Right? You know, there's a lot of hard work, a lot of, you know.
I just don't understand why they do that. Why, when they do raise the minimum wage, how come they shit, like, and this is all across the board, every company.
Yeah.
They literally shit on everybody that's been busting their ass that entire time just to get what they got, and now people are coming in the door to do
Here's
it,
the thing.
and it's like, oh, you want to raise? You got to keep going.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna lay out my thought process for all of this. I've been, like, for me, for the medical field, I've been, like, we you know, keep saying it over and over, but long ass time.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just like any other company, and which is scary, but it is. Everything is purposeful. Everything is meant to keep it the way they want to keep it. Like, here's the thing. Like, if you know, giving everybody a raise, the company knows their long-term staff aren't going anywhere, and part of it, they don't like that.
Yeah.
They want to hire everybody at that base pay. That's starting pay. That's what they want to pay. So if you've been here for X amount of years past that, and even if it's just the cost of living raise that you've been getting for those years, fuck you. Like, they don't have no interest in paying you more money for the same job they can pay somebody else for.
Oh yeah, of course.
But the thing is, by making you work short-staffed and making a hostile working environment, and they purposely want to keep things a certain way just to keep that gear going.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know, it's
A good example was when the whole COVID thing kind of started. Oaklawn had kind of like a daycare, kindergarten style program at their facility in the library or whatever. And what they did is to save money on costs or whatever, they let everybody go. They were all there for like 10 plus years, and, you know, people were devastated. This was their job. They were teachers, you know, they were really hurt. So what they did was before they could honor any like contract or retirement or whatever, they let them all go. And then turned around and had the nerve to post online, oh, we're hiring. Oh, we need people. We're short-staffed. Like, you just let all of your staff go and turn around and said, we need new people. We are short-staffed. And then, when they couldn't fucking get the people to fucking work, they turned around and contacted all the old teachers and offered them a contract making 10 times less than what they were originally making. And going, oh, you want your job back? This is your new pay.
Yeah.
This is what you have to deal with.
Here's another trick.
They said, fuck you.
Well, they should. But
you know,
here's the other trick that, like, companies, especially like mine, will do to people. Like, if you went on my company's website right now, if you went to like a Perion, whatever the fuck it is, like, they have like they started their own temp service through their own company. Well, they'll pay you $25 an hour for 3 months to temporarily work there, and the whole reason actually behind that is to keep the turnover rate.
Yeah.
They use scheduling to balance their budget. Is exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like,
any job that has an hourly schedule
Yeah.
That's exactly what that is.
Oh yeah, big time. But and then that's the thing.
That's why you're only going to work from 9 to 2:30.
It's 7 to 3, 3 to 11, 11 to 7. Like,
why is it? Why? Right. Why can't I come in at this time and work till this time? Why can't it just be one solid? Because they don't want that full-time employment.
No.
Because what happens with full-time employment? You have to come up with benefits. You have to come up with securities.
Yeah,
your
even better.
401k,
Right. Exactly.
You know, and then companies don't want to spend money on that.
The temporary people also don't have the added benefit of being in the union, so you can basically do whatever the hell you want with them.
You can fire them whenever you want, and hire whoever you want.
By doing that, these people aren't going to stay for more than 3 months. Because as soon as their pay is going to drop from, $25 an hour down to $15.50 or whatever the starting pay is now, they're not going to do that shit. That's the only reason I was here for this 3 months was for that 25. And the company knows that. So now, instead of, then they bring in agency people that are making almost $30 an hour. They're making almost as much as the nurses fucking making, especially during COVID, right? They do that to fill the holes, but we're helping you out. The true fact is you're using them because you had to, because it's so short, but you're making an environment where no one can actually get a routine. No one can actually be comfortable in this job. It's short because y'all keep calling up. Well, if you used the agency for what it was supposed to be for, to keep it staffed, then you can manage your employees. And you can weed out the bad ones. But you would have to consistently pay to have full staff, and that's what they don't want to do.
Yep.
So it's basically you're on a giant merry-go-round. They just keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. And then the funniest thing about big companies is when something does go wrong, it's your fault.
Oh yeah.
It's the bottom person's fault, no matter what.
Shit rolls downhill, son.
Yeah. Fuck you. You know.
When my boss fucks up, it's, what the fuck? What?
Right.
And then what do I gotta do? You, what the fuck? And then that lonely person on the bottom of the fucking, the guy in the bottom of the bowl is like, fuck, I guess I gotta do better. You're goddamn right, you better do better.
but yeah, that's exactly the system.
Don't let me fuck up again, I swear to God.
Yeah, but that's the system, right? It's perpetually broken.
And it's like, but that's just the way life is, and it's so scary because if you try to change the system, you will devastate society because we're so entwined with the way the system is now. If you try to put in something new, I fear to say that you would have millions dead if you tried to change the system, because if you change the financial system, all your money is worthless and you start from zero. If you don't own gold or precious metals or anything like that, you're dead fucking broke. You're nothing. You have nothing. You're an animal. You're just another creature on the earth.
That makes sense.
If they go over to a digital currency, like this one world currency they're trying to do or whatever, if they do that, the only way they could do that right now is if they crash the dollar, which is looking like it's going to happen soon.
Well, I mean,
and
it's terrible.
You can have $1 million in your bank account right now. If the dollar crashes or stops being the world reserve, that $1 million, you might as well wipe your ass with it, because that's all it's good for. That's like Venezuelan money. I want to buy a loaf of bread. That'd be $4 trillion for some bread.
Right, but yeah.
But then you turn around with an American dollar and you give them $1 American, they're like, that'll do. Because their money is such garbage. That's what it is. But yet, to the people of their country, $1 for us is like $1 for them. So when their cost is $1 trillion fucking dollars, they don't have $1 trillion. They got $5 in their pocket. You know what I mean? They don't got that money. That's why motherfuckers are eating fucking dogs and zoo animals and shit. It's crazy over there, bro. Socialism.
man, it's crazy.
I just, and it almost feels like, don't get me wrong, you can find any kind of political structure and find something wrong with it. Of course there's something wrong with capitalism. At its core, it's pure. Socialism, at its core, it's pure. Communism, at its core, is pure.
We could all use a little communism right now, that's all I'm saying.
When you get a group of evil people that come to power, which is very, very capable of happening, no matter what it is, if it's a corporation or if it's a country, if you get an evil person that manages to come to power, it's over.
And you're saying this like we haven't had this situation.
No, there has been.
You know what I'm saying.
Right, like, look at the oligarchy in this country. If you're not a Bush, you're nothing. If you're not a Clinton, you're nothing. If you're not in politics for 70, 80 years, you're nothing.
Right.
Really?
Well, that goes, you know what? And it's a little awful what we're talking about, but it's something I've always thought about. Or, what do you think about like the company De Beers, like the diamond thing? Like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, the reason I bring that up is
I don't care how I get my diamond, just make sure I get my goddamn diamond. But 40,000 children died in the. I don't give a shit. Did they get my diamond? There's a reason why they call it a blood diamond. But you know what? They can get away with that shit. Why? Because there's no kind of structure in Africa to stop that from happening.
Right, but here's the part that... This is for me. This is where my brain goes. The kicker for me. Yes! It's the fact that we, as a people, we all know, or at least, the thing is, the whole diamond thing is a fucking scam. Like, it's a giant fucking scam. Like, they made a monopoly out of it, and have said that it's a scarce fucking resource, and that's why it's more expensive.
It's really not. You just kind of dig down enough.
And then they marketed it to us, like, this is why you want these things, And as people, we bought that shit up, and we've now diamonds are, like, traditionally this thing. It's embedded into our culture. So with that being said, even when you find out...
We do like our stones.
Yes, but you find you find out that the thing that you thought was a scarce resource isn't.
No.
It's all a scam, it's all... The price has been pushed up, all that shit.
Yeah, these people are finding it in, rivers and they're finding it so easy.
The bottom line of that whole thought process for me. Why are we still buying into it? Is it just routine? Is it just like that's our... Because
when it comes down to our basic human need, we see shiny, must have.
But that's what I'm saying. Are we like, what the fuck? Like,
why is gold so fucking precious?
Right. Like,
we see shiny.
Batteries.
It's nice.
Like, you know what I mean? It's not. It's a resource. It's a element per se, but it's not. I'm just saying, like, there's so much stuff that, like, it's like even when the bottom falls out, us as people are like, nah, I still need this. Like, I still want it. I still got.
Right.
I can't tell my wife that. Like, I gotta give her the biggest diamond. I gotta have.
I do know why gold is the most precious stone. I'm just being stupid. But no, I get it. It's like, it's just, and people go to war for this.
Yes.
They kill millions for these gems, these little rocks that we're pulling out of the ground.
Right.
But the free ground.
But that's what I'm saying is, even after, that's the biggest fuck up in my head, is because even after knowing this, that it's all a monopoly, it's all a fucking scam, our civilization, us people are like, fuck it, man, I want it anyway. Like, that's the biggest mind fuck for me, because it's like, if it really was like a scarce resource and this, that, and the other, like, oh, okay, like I can see,
yeah,
but
it's because we're built to have an urge to have shit you don't need.
Right. Like, I don't know, like sometimes I really, really think about this. Like if I wasn't married, like I think I'd really try to live like a more minimalist. Blah, blah, blah. You know the word I'm trying to say?
Pimp.
Yes, I would be a pimp. No,
You'd make a good pimp, my friend.
Pimp hand is strong. No, like I would like to live more minimal, like minimalist lifestyle. Like I would love the. Like I said, if I wasn't married, if I wasn't like, I'm not saying I would not do a job I'm doing or whatever, but I think that the possessions are kind of like I like that thought process. It's the same thing when I was talking about the thing that made me want talk about Amish people. It's like I like the theory behind it. I like the life choice of some of that stuff. Like
it's definitely in my opinion a really easy but yet extremely difficult way of life.
Right. I'm not gonna say it's easy, but here's a question for you. What's the happiest time of your entire life? Like, if you look back in any of your fucking memories, like, well, when did you perceive yourself to be like you were the happiest?
It's spotty because I've had a lot of happy times in my life.
Well, ups and downs and stuff, but I mean, like,
I was happy with my first relationship with my daughter and everything.
Like, take relationships out of it. Like,
what about children?
Like that's a hard subject too.
Like
giving
to me,
them things in general.
My life didn't really begin until Gabby was born.
Okay.
That's when I was like, gotta smarten up, man.
So
Gotta wisen up.
Here's the question then. When especially your first daughter was like at a really young age, what was the thing that made her like the happiest she could be at whatever age it was? Like,
the fact that, or at least I think, is that because when my first relationship with my first daughter and her mom fell apart, she was only 6 months old. So it's kind of hard to think of that, because she was so young. So I can't, she could have been happy, it could have been gas. Is that a smile? Damn it. But even then, that ended in tragedy, that ended bad. And then I had that year and a half of my life where I was just bad and did everything wrong, But then I met the one woman and had Gabby. That changed my whole perspective on life. But then when I finally got a home where it was me, my significant other, and then that was the Gabby, and then later on Christopher, my son. I was happy because I went to work every day. I came home to their faces every day. I did what I was asked to do because she worked overnights at Walmart. So when I got home, she wanted to sleep. Period. Okay, bet. That's what she did. I got home. I was in charge of the dinner, the bath, and all this stuff. And cool, no problems there. And I was always drilled that if you're the man, you're the provider. Period. When I was providing for my family, up until the moment it all fell apart, obviously, that was the happiest time in my entire life, is being able to provide for somebody else. I had a purpose. I still have a purpose. It's just we split up. Didn't work out. Between me and the mom, it didn't work out. Had nothing to do with the kids or nothing like that. It just didn't work out. And it was a long relationship too. Almost 8 years, 9 years. So it went a long time. It's just, you know what I mean? Like right now, I can't say that I'm not happy.
Okay.
I have my depression fits, the whole bipolar thing. I get that from time to time, but that's not. It's not a hindrance towards myself being happy, because I can make myself happy. That's not hard,
We're simple creatures after all.
It's so simple. But it's like, as an individual person, you have to learn, because it's not something that just happens. You have to learn how to make yourself happy. If you can't make yourself happy, you're not going to be happy. No matter what situation it is, no matter where you're at, if you have that victim mentality, or there's always something wrong, there's always this, you're not going to be happy. It doesn't matter if you get everything you want, you're not going to be happy. That's why they always say, why are the rich so miserable? Money doesn't buy happiness. That's why.
Right.
Money buys the shit you want, not the emotion. Like, I can have I can be a bajillionaire right now, and I want you to be my friend. Oh, I don't want to be your friend. Here's $100,000. You want to buy a car? Okay. You're not my friend.
No.
Right. No, but thanks for the car, bro.
I'll see you in a while.
Yeah, like, I'll talk to you later. Or the old Chicago style talk. I'm gonna hit you right back. I'm gonna hit you up in a second. I got another call. Or you know what? I'm gonna head out. I'll be right back. Let me go take care of this real quick.
Oh, yeah.
3-4 fucking weeks later.
You can't buy happiness, you can't buy love, you can't buy friendship.
But when I had a direction,
there you go.
I was able to focus on that direction, and I was fucking happy doing it. I was in a almost hypnotic, blissful state. Because I had my frustrations. Yeah, I get pissed off and here and there. Work sucks, or the missus is being a bitch, or the kids are being assholes. It happens. You're human. You have a certain amount you can take and you snap. Okay, I get that. But happiness, I think, is a completely different entity altogether of every other emotion. Because you can be in love and not be happy.
True. Very, very true.
You can be happy and not be in love with a single fucking person.
That's a good, that's a good way to put things.
It's being happy is something completely in it of itself.
Yeah.
Because if you cannot be happy with and for yourself, if you have kids, they'll see it. Your significant other will definitely see it, especially if you're living together. They'll look right fucking through you. You can, oh, how are you today? Yeah, I'm fine. Huh?
They know the difference.
What you mean?
Right. They know the difference. Right? And
then
that's the bad part.
There's a difference between I'm alright and I'm okay. Or I'm good. Or no, I'm good. There's a huge difference.
Oh, yeah.
And somebody who's extremely comfortable with you, your everyday, they're gonna see that.
Oh,
they're gonna see, like, fuck, you can come in with your eyes squintier more than normal. So what's your eyes? You cool? They know if you're happy. That's why people stray. Oh, I love her. I love her so much. She's my everything. I love him. He's so much. He's my everything. Are you happy? Well, I'm here sucking your dick right now, aren't I? You know what I mean? Like,
I get your point exactly.
You're not happy. You're in love. You could be in love with someone. I could be. Back then, I was in love. Didn't stop me from dicking down another chick. I mean, yeah, they call me an asshole for it. Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm an asshole. I'm not gonna change your opinion on that. I'm an asshole, whatever. I did it. But then on the other hand, she loved me, but she cheated on me. You know what I mean? Like, but I love you, but I'm not happy.
Right, but there's just a lot of people that don't know the difference between them.
Oh, no.
I really think that's a serious problem. That's like, you start talking about relationships and shit. Yeah, that's a serious fucking problem. It's a disconnect. It is like trying to be in a relationship to fix your own fucking bullshit. It's not a fucking great idea.
Oh no, you can't. Nobody can swoop, like, and I hate this fucking phrase, swept me off my feet. Nobody can do that but you.
It's fair. It's a fair statement.
Because if somebody has enough power to come into your life and just sweep you off your feet and make you, he makes me so happy. Okay, but if I take him out of the equation, can you still be happy? Oh no, I can't live without him. He's my rock. All right, well then you're not really happy.
You don't want to code.
You're stable.
Right.
You're comfortable.
Yes.
You're not actually happy. You may be in a good mood, but you're not actually happy. You're very comfortable.
Well, at that point, I think a lot of people go through life. You're just trying to fill holes.
Oh yeah.
Like not even be trying to be in a funny way. Like,
yeah. You ask anybody who's been married for like 30, 40 years. Oh, you love her? Oh, absolutely. You like her? Hell no. Are you happy? Yeah. Right? You're like, but it's a silly yes, but it's like, but it's like, well, you've been together for so long. The comfortability, to being comfortable, outweighs everything else.
Yeah.
And that's
stability,
you know,
being comfortable, being.
You're stable. You're good where you're at. You know, you're good with what's going on. You're good with the current situation. You know, and you can forget what makes you happy.
Yeah, too.
And then after a while, then they hit you with the, oh, we need to rekindle the flame. The flame should have never went out.
I would say, I hate to say that it's not okay to be comfortable, because I feel like with life, like, you don't always have to be hustling, you don't always have to be grinding. Like,
it's just dangerous to be comfortable with the wrong person.
That's what I would say. When it comes to relationships, I think that's a very dangerous thing.
Yeah.
If you let yourself basically melt into the mundane, if you let yourself just
you change yourself.
Yes. Like,
you're not the person you started off with, because you started off here, but then you got comfortable and turned into what you are here.
Right.
That's a completely separate entity at that point.
Also, if you become codependent on the person you're with for those things, like you were just saying, like you're, you know, my happiness only. Am I urinating, or is that in here?
No, you're dying.
Oh, it's good to know.
Is your arm okay? Are you
yeah.
Just making sure, buddy.
No, but yeah, like just you can't rely on you can't rely on someone else for your needs and your happiness. If you're not a functional human being by yourself, and that goes hand in hand with all this stuff. Like, it's just if you can't survive by yourself, if you can't live by yourself, if you can't
be a
alone,
functional human being by yourself,
yes.
Do not expect someone else to come into your life and fix it.
Yes. I couldn't put it any better. Like and that's I think like there's like. I don't know the actual statistic to this, but it's got.
Nobody's gonna come into your life and be like, "I like your baggage. Let me let me do this." Unless he's a virgin or really desperate.
No, that's honest to God true. Like that. That's and that's some of the things that you only learn with age and time.
Mm-hmm.
Like you only learn from some bad relationships and some bad things. Unfortunately, like there's a learning curve to that shit. Like, what you will and won't put up with in a relationship is something that you grow to have. Like,
oh yeah. After every major relationship I had, I developed rules for myself that I just could not break after the fact.
And there's like a couple people in my life like that I wish would understand that, because I don't mean anything bad by it to them. Like, let's say like my sister. I love my sister to death and all that, you know, nothing bad to say about her, but I've always felt like, and I had the same habit, but like, if you know like somebody that like always has to be in a relationship.
I love your sister to death too.
Oh, Okay.
Like, oh, you son of a bitch.
Well,
Wait till these cameras shut off.
She's a grown woman. I mean,
She can handle herself.
no, but I mean, like, I feel like it's not just her, but and like I said, I've had the bad habit too. It's people that like serially date people. Like, you just always have to be in a relationship. Like, I think that's a
I know a lot of people
terrible
like that.
fucking habit.
They'll
Like,
break up with somebody and be like, I'm so free, I'm so happy. 5 seconds later, you're in a relationship.
And most of the time, people that do that, they're already looking for the next person while they're in the relationship. You know, like,
and odds are,
even if they don't cheat, even if they actually end the relationship first, like you were already looking for someone else. Like,
those people are the ones that have, like, the majority of them have that issue where they have zero self-esteem. They don't believe in themselves whatsoever.
Like, it's, you know, I need somebody else to complete me.
Absolutely. They
Like,
absolutely need somebody to hold. And
yeah.
That's a form of narcissism, in a sense, because
Makes sense.
That goes right into the playbook of narcissism, you know?
Right.
Like, and you ask those people, you know, and the story was almost always the same, no matter who it is. It's like, oh, well, that other person was just so bad to me, and he wasn't giving me what I needed and I wanted it. So, but this person's like, no, this person's kinding up to you because he knows you. He got you. He knows. And then what happens when that fails? You're gonna jump on the next person, you know, and it just keeps going over and over and over.
And I believe I've said this many times before, but I think that when you have time to yourself, like if you get out of a major relationship, that's the biggest mistake, is jumping into another one.
Oh yeah.
Even if you're not that person,
give yourself some time, man.
Like, I would say the most building experience I ever had in my entire life was like when I finally got divorced from my ex-wife. When I finally got that divorce, I did the same stupid shit. I started dating somebody again, and like immediately upon that divorce, like I ran.
You had to
relationship,
fill that
like,
void,
and that's what it was. Yeah, 100% is what it was. I was just trying to have that person. Like, I just wanted that person. You have all these feelings and shit you want to give, and I understand that side of it too. Like, you know what I mean? It's not just the narcissistic side, or people that have like low self-esteem. Sometimes you just feel like you have all this love to give. You have all this thing. I know I'm a good person. I hate people that claim they're good people and claim they're honest and shit. But I mean, from this aspect,
I'm a good guy. I'm not. I'm an asshole.
I'm a piece of shit. I don't give a fuck about you. No, but in reality, like, that's the reason behind it for me. Like, but I ran right into a relationship, and one time in my life, like even my divorce from my ex-wife. But the time that got to where it was already so fucked up that it wasn't a mental like blow to me. It was like I almost like knew it was just a necessity. I had to get out of it.
But when the split up finally happened, it hurt, didn't it?
It did hurt. You know,
Can I give you my take real quick though?
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Did it hurt because your way of life was done?
Well, part of that, yeah, like that's definitely.
Did it hurt that your everyday routine scenario had to be changed?
Right.
Because once you're mentally over somebody, like this is exactly what happened between me and the baby mama. We were both mentally over each other. Like, she could have left at any time, and it wouldn't have meant anything to me. But the fact that she took the kids, she took my life. Everything that I had, she took my everyday. She took my comfortability. I was comfortable, and she took all of that away.
I see.
So that's when you have to learn how to live differently. That's when all that frustration builds up.
Yeah.
And then how I did it was I need to find somebody to fill that pocket that I have that used to be there, because I can do everything else except for that. Like, I can change my life except for that. I desperately need another person for that.
Yes,
so what do?
Yes.
You jump straight into the first person who gives you any kind of fucking emotion.
That is like so dead fucking accurate that it's ridiculous. Like, I couldn't have thought it or said it any fucking better.
I did the same thing.
Like when
I was
and
thrilled.
that's when I dated this lady that was married. Should have never been in that relationship. She told me it was over between them.
I gotta love those.
She told me all sorts of shit.
It's just pillow talk, baby.
Right, yes, but and I just she was the wrong lady for me. She was too old for me at the time. Like, there was so many.
Guy was 12.
Yes.
She was 46.
But to be honest, like there was so many red flags and so many reasons I shouldn't have been there. But the fact that she showed me any attention, I latched onto that shit.
Oh yeah.
Like, and that's where the story was going for me. When she left me to go back with her husband, like the last time, honest to God, that crushed my whole fucking world.
Oh
like,
yeah, because you put so much into that.
It was like having a heart attack. Like I have never felt that sensation before. Like it was just destroyed. Like
the original breakup hurts, but the second breakup is devastating.
Like you just
because at that point you're like, what the fuck did I do?
Right.
Like how did I fuck this up?
And then of course for whatever purposes or whatever, the person mentioned makes you out to be the villain.
Of course.
In the situation, Of
course.
I was this evil seducer, you know what I mean? Whatever it is.
You took me from him.
Right. And it's like,
Wait, who's saying that? You or him?
Right. But I mean, I look back at it and I'm like, now I have a way different attitude.
Oh, yeah.
If making me the bad guy is what helped you, sweetheart, good for you.
Namaste.
Like I'll be the evil villain in your fucking story.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you can look back on your 50th wedding anniversary and be like, I can just be a dark memory. That's fine. I don't give a shit.
Right.
Like,
I'll drink to that.
Right. Like I'm not gonna lose any sleep over it.
Here's
now.
a shot for every regret you have.
Right. Like, but would that be after that happened? The most important time of my life. Over a year that I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't date anybody. I didn't like. That was the most important character building of my entire fucking life.
I bet you found you.
Yeah, but that's what it is, right? Like in more than one way. Like
yeah, right. Oh, yeah.
but yeah, like if you don't discover those little things about yourself, what you find
like an 11-year-old boy playing with his dick for the first time.
It's like you rediscover some shit, but yeah, no, I mean it's like you get back to like doing things that make you happy.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing is to understand what you need personally as a person.
And you set your own standards.
Yes.
Instead of having others set your standards for you, you set your own standards.
Yes.
When she left, I mean, it was bad. She took everything. This place was empty when I got home. Like, impressive. Let me tell you. But I got home, I had a mattress and a couch. Everything else was gone. Oh, and this awesome TV here. So I stayed single for about a year. Because one, I had nothing to offer anybody else. I had to build what I had. I had to fix my life to the point where,
that was true for me too. Like,
I had to be able to offer something to somebody instead of having somebody offer me something.
But that's an important building experience for, I would say, for a man more.
Yeah. And even when I met Casey, we didn't start like really dating until about almost a year and a half, 2 years into our hanging out, going to dinner, doing stuff, kicking it, how you say, or whatever, right. It wasn't for like a whole like year and a half, I want to say, to when I realized I want to be with this woman, because one, she's so weird. Like she's not like any other woman I've met anyway. Like all the women I've ever met were dependent on something. They needed something. You know what I mean?
I do.
She doesn't.
Right.
She's been living on her own forever. She's been
mm.
doing her own. She's extremely independent, and extremely, she's smart. She knows what the fuck she's doing, which is awesome,
It's a beautiful thing.
And that
right.
threw me off because I'd never met a chick like that. To me, in my eyes, women were, back then was, oh, they need a man to nah, man. She kicks ass in a lot of different ways, I hit a button. I didn't want to make sure I fuck something up, and she is a huge believer of, you are 100% your own person. I am 100% my own person. You're gonna go do whatever the fuck you want to do, when you want to do it, how you want to do it. I'm gonna go do whatever the fuck I want to do, when you're gonna do it, how I'm gonna do it. I have men friends, get over it. I have female friends, get over it. You know what I mean? And I guess it's I had to learn how to retrust, because after being cheated on and everything, the trust was gone, man. At this point, I was able to make myself happy, so that was fine. And then it went from that to, what can I do to make her happy? But then I realized she doesn't need me to make her happy, because she's already happy on her own.
Enjoying each other's company.
Right. That was a fucking concept that blew my fucking mind. That other people can make themselves happy. They don't need you to make you,
You mean I have a woman that I don't have to put on a show for?
Right! I never had to pretend to be anything else,
you don't have to turn
but
on
me.
Right.
There was
That's
never a
big
case
difference.
of, I don't want her to know this about me. No, she did not give a fuck about what I have done, did do, will do, how I did it. As long as I fulfilled her need at the moment of being together at that time.
Right.
And now what? It's almost been 4 years, man. So I want to say in an actual official relationship about 2.5 years, and I don't have that thought that crosses my mind. What's she doing? Because I don't need to.
That's beautiful.
It's
that's a beautiful thing.
When you have and again, I make myself happy, but she also makes me happy. Right. It's not the same kind of happy, but it's that happy.
No, but that's such an important thing. If anything, if you have the old question of if you can go back in time and tell your younger self shit. Everybody's probably thought about it.
Just go back in time, look at my younger self.
Yeah, well, right, but you know what? I'd tell my younger self there's plenty of fish.
That was the issue, though. That was the issue, because you only had that little circle of people that were around you at the time, especially being younger, and not really able to I'm gonna go clubbing every fucking night, or I'm gonna go to this place, and I wasn't a regular at a bar, you know what I mean? There wasn't. I didn't have a flow of people constantly. It was just that small group, and that was it. And if there were no women in that group, I was fucked.
Right.
Oh no, actually I wasn't. There's
a way to look at it. Here's the thing for me, I think that's the biggest lesson of the fact that it's just a lot of people, I'm sure, and I've heard this story through other people too, and that was my biggest mistake with my first wife. And I look back and I kick myself because I had friends at the time, you and Derek, and I was hanging out with Joe and that one Matt kid that, he was just a drug friend. We talked about that. Yeah. But needless to say, I had friends at the time, and Derek said something to me a long time ago, when I was first dating Victoria. He said to me, "Do you love her, or do you just love her pussy? You know what I mean?" And it's
being that young though,
Did
you even know the difference?
I didn't. That's the thing. I was more infatuated with what I wanted from her at that age, and I didn't know what the difference was.
Oh yeah.
And then what led it as far as it did was the fact that I literally thought that I couldn't get nothing else. And then
And you want to know what though? That also has something to do with your significant other.
Well, no.
Because if
that was
There's ways to attack somebody to make them feel less of themselves.
Oh no, believe me.
Without actually
yeah.
physically saying anything or doing anything. You know what I mean?
It's yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like that hurts because after a while, you tend to believe that that's true.
You do. You actually grow that thought process.
Yeah,
like,
you forget you forget the person who you forget who you really are. That's why spending that time being single after that year, you found that person again.
Right.
But that's when you know, like, that's a toxic relationship through and through.
God,
like that,
right.
you know. It's like where you're in the relationship because you think that's what you deserve, and you think that's all you can get. And that other person fucking knows it.
Oh yeah, like big time.
And they're gonna do whatever it takes to keep you subservient.
Right. Yes.
You got to be careful with that.
Oh my God.
That was my Kim situation, man.
But big, like for me, my ex-wife, like
about the same. Yeah, I was actually dating Kim when you were dating her.
Yeah.
So it was about the same time. Man, I was with the women in that age. Crazy psycho bitches.
Well, you know, I mean, and no one ever talks about that.
I'm gonna get shit on by all the feminists.
Well, no, it's not even necessarily that. It's just you gotta think about how we were at that age, right? Now, if you think about how they acted or what they're like when you say narcissism, you say like somebody's a narcissist or whatever.
We are all a little narcissists.
Yes, but here's the other thing: people don't just become a narcissist. Like, you know, you're not just born like you know.
Are you sure, man? Because I've always loved myself. And my right hand begs to differ.
Right. I'm a little ambidextrous, not to brag, but you know.
Depend on the time of the week.
But no, I mean, it's like the stuff that happened to them in their life. You know what I mean? If you stop and you look at the other side of it, man, I try to do that now.
Right.
Oh shit! I left my ring at home. Side note. No, but I try to look at the other side of it. I try really, really hard to see things from both sides. And it's like, I know with like my ex-wife, like as terrible as some of the things she did and all the other stuff or whatever that happened, and it's arguably like if it was the people that knew me or like knew the stuff that was going on between us, you'd be like, oh yeah, she was a fucking terrible human being. Like,
yeah, but don't lie, you poked the beast.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah, even like with me and my ex in the situation, like she would just go off on everything and anything.
Right. But it takes
eventually,
yeah,
you decide.
Oh, we all do. Right?
Hey, yeah.
I try to look at it. I really try to be objective about it, as I know there's reasons. That, like, my ex in particular, I know there's reasons that she did the things she did. And I also, like, I try to be grown up and have the process of, like, if I knew what I knew now, or if I was a stronger man, if I was a different man, if I wasn't as young or naive as I was, that I would have done stuff differently. You know what I'm saying? Hindsight's 20/20. I love that saying because it's such a true fucking statement. Like... And I say this with almost any relationship, anything that's ever happened to you, it came to a pivotal point at one point or another. Like, there was one time, if you would have put your foot down, maybe you wouldn't have had that relationship with that person. But if you did, maybe it would have been different. Like, you'll never know now.
And see, that was a problem with us and youth in general, is
because you don't
when the
know.
person with the experience tries to tell you,
you don't want to hear it.
The first thing you think of is, I'll figure it out myself.
Right, because you don't, and you know.
It's like, okay, good luck.
Have
fun with that experience.
Right.
I tried to avoid you having that experience by telling you about my experience. But if you want to have that experience yourself, go ahead and learn yourself.
Absolutely.
But then when that situation is done, don't come crying.
Right.
Because you're gonna realize, damn. That person who was like, hey man, don't let nobody walk all over you. Hey man, stand up for yourself. Hey man, you're better than this.
Right. And
you
don't want to see
you didn't want to hear that shit because we were so fucking stubborn. We were so into ourselves. We're young. Don't fucking tell me what to do. And that's the mentality, but way worse with the kids nowadays. Because they're young. They don't want to be fucking told what to do. Period.
No.
Not even by their own fucking parents.
Nobody. That's just
the kid, and it has gotten worse. You could see like just the generations of children as from like when we were kids to now, like it just have progressively gotten worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. You know, and like now I feel like it's to the point where it's like kids feel like they should be in charge of the home. It's like no, like you're not that smart.
No,
you want to go? You want to get a job and pay the bills? No. But you need to respect my feelings. No, the fuck I don't.
I know reality.
I'll listen to you.
I think,
but I don't have to respect you.
But I mean, I think that's part of the problem now. Is there's too many parents. There's too many. There's too much of a pool of thought that you have to be friends with your children. Or
my kids have to. I have to respect my kids. No, the fuck you don't.
There's a reason things work the way they work. There's a reason that we learn the way we learn. It's just like there's so many kids don't have. It's just the same thing we were just talking about as us being in the in our relationship history where we've gotten to how we've gotten to where we are.
We would be so much fucking worse off as people if we got the no, stop, don't do that. Right. Can you imagine how we would be right now if that's what we got?
Right.
No,
we
we got the.
Pacified,
I got my.
right.
Oh my God! I got my ass whooped.
I mean, see, I was a little on the other side of that.
I didn't have an opinion as a child, man. I didn't have any kind of free will as a kid. I was done.
I was a cowardly child. I think I said that the last time we were together. That I was afraid of everything. I was a little kid at a certain point. So for me,
made no sense. He was a big ass kid.
Yeah, and that was the thing other people said to me too, especially back then. Like I don't get, you know.
That first slap boxing match is when I realized how strong you were.
Well, you know what the funny thing is? Until I was in high school, I was terrified of getting punched. I don't know why. Like I was just like, this is the worst possible thing that ever happened to you.
Because it's embarrassing.
But I mean, but I thought like, you know, like I heard somebody say once that like. Kids have to know that they're not made out of glass.
Oh yeah.
Like you know what I mean?
I believe you got to get your ass kicked a few times.
But that's the thing. I was so sheltered in that type of shit.
Right.
That until I was way older, I did not have that concept. Like you know what I mean? Like I was afraid of fighting. I was afraid of it. Like
man.
I'm gonna get hurt. Like I don't. You know. Then you get older and somebody punches you and for me being my size. Literally what you were just saying earlier, like, that's it? Like, that's... The fuck was I afraid? You know, I had a whole...
Exactly.
I was afraid of this? Like, why? Like, what... Like, oh my God, if I would have known... You know what I mean? Like...
In high school, I mean...
Well, that's the same thing. I think that's honestly why I didn't do well in sports. Like, I wanted to play football, but, like, when I went to, like, the football camp...
fucking lineman.
And the coach at football at the time, they tried to persuade me to play back in my freshman year.
You had the body built for it too.
In the football camp in itself, like hitting the pads and shit. Like, I was like, I had that mindset. I was just like, I'm gonna get hurt. This is gonna happen. Like,
didn't even know you were a fucking monster.
Well, man, but it's like, and then some of the shit that's happened since that time in my life that has showed me that's not true. If I would have known that then,
right?
Like cause my good God, like I honestly got some of the physical shit that has happened to me, like I don't know, but I should probably be broken into pieces for some of the shit that know, tumbling downstairs and shit and getting hit by a car, or what things that happen, like, and you're just fine. And you're like, oh, okay.
Oh man, poor Randy. I just had a random memory pop into my head of me running full speed and just completely
I remember this
killing Randy.
You?
Oh, it hurt so fucking hard. I felt so terrible.
The worst time I ever been tackled in football.
Oh, I fucked you up.
Was you.
I fucked you up.
Because
I knew, like, that's when I told you, like, dude, you're stronger than you think you are.
You hit me so fucking hard. I slid across the ground.
I had to destroy this man because there was no tackling him. There was no taking out his feet. If he had the ball, he ain't getting stopped, and we all knew it. So that one faithful play, I said, "Fuck this."
You hit me like a freight train. I realized that like my whole just. And then I had like my house keys in my pocket, so like.
Oh, that's the worst. Landing on your keys.
It's all the way across the ground, like it just dug into me. Like I remember these times.
See, and it's so funny because like when I play football with friends. Like, I never joined football, you know, like, I wanted to. I did baseball instead of football, you know, but I was always the most, I'm gonna fuck you up on the field kind of guy. Because if you were smaller than me, I'm just gonna wrap you up, you know? But, like, you see, we only telling the story of when I hit you. No, the play before, this man fucking ran right through me.
Well, you know, I had the benefit of like, you know how they talk about like Chris Farley's comedy is physical,
right? Yeah.
Like, I was always a big guy, but when I like, especially like, I had the benefit of being more agile for my size. Like if I was running, I could actually like spin around or some shit. Like I think somebody my size probably wouldn't, you know. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I didn't see you as athletic.
Oh man, you know.
But again, just by that when we played football or when we did the slap boxing thing, that's when I was like, you are fucking strong. Like you don't even know how strong you are.
I mean,
but being big, of course you're gonna be strong. You know?
Well, yeah, I mean it's a natural like you.
You know, you got to carry around your own weight, so you're already used to carrying, what, 250?
Well, at that time, yeah.
And you were what, 13, 14?
Yeah, give or take. Like.
So you already had underneath all that the physique of a fucking bodybuilder. You know, because if you think about it, you're already you're country strong. You know what I mean?
And that's the thing that actually goes back to like I said, when I was a kid, my grandmother used to work the fuck out of me.
Right.
I was digging holes for gardening. I was, you know, she made sure I was always physically working every second of the time that I was with in that household.
She didn't want you to be that guy standing on the side of the road, holding his glasses up, trying to call AAA to come change his tire.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you're a dude and you don't know how to change a tire?
Well, and that's the weird thing is sometimes I still, to this day, won't know that like something is like somebody be like, oh, you can't move that or whatever.
Right.
Like you want to see a patient look crazy. Like I had a Hoyer lift that wouldn't fit under a bed, right? And there's residents like maybe 230, something like that. Like she, you know, it's a bigger lady, but it's in the bed. You know, the bed's way whatever. I don't fucking know. But the legs of the Hoyer won't fit under the bed, so you can't pick her up, right? So everybody's like, oh, I don't know what we're gonna do. I reached down and grabbed the frame of the bed and just picked it up off the ground and then slid the Hoyer under it and then put it back down. Everybody, even the patient's like, what the fuck? Like, how the fuck? Like, I don't know. I've never thought about it. I've never put like, oh, how actually, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you got, I'm gonna get shit from. You got that retard strength, boy.
No, but to a certain extent. But I'm not trying to brag or whatever.
You're a gorilla in human body, man. Like,
but
you're
like
huge.
A lot of times, like I've never put any thought into it. It's not like I'm going around like, oh, I could lift this much.
Oh yeah.
Like
you don't want to be a meathead.
No, but at the same time,
tonight.
this is a weird way of me putting it this way. I've always been strong enough to just do what I had to do.
That
like,
makes sense.
If that, you know what I mean? Not like calculate or anything, but if I had to lift something, if I had to move something, like, wasn't a problem. Like, you know, like,
yeah. Oh, thank you. It's been fun.
That's all
We've been
right.
chatting. This definitely went longer than the other one. That's for sure.
Oh wow.
And this is only part 2. Oh man, but yeah, this good conversation. Like I want to do like I want to switch things around. Like I want to like get a better table to do things with. Maybe like a actual camera stand. You know, like I want to do more, but right now I like the way it is now, keeping it like super simple. It's a good flow.
Casual
It's
level,
easy.
Like,
You know. But to everybody else, if you like what we're talking about, like, subscribe. If you don't like what we're talking about, thanks for watching. If you agree or disagree, leave a comment. Do all that stuff. But it is what it is. As always, have fun, be safe, wear a condom. Guy Ross, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I enjoyed being here.
Golf clap.
Yes.
Single hand clap.
Oh, even better.
Or the. Oh man, if I can get this to work. All right, well, have fun.